Well, well, well. It is Friday. We might as well play the new theme music for 2025. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. The news has been a little slow and in between for the Cowboys, but nevertheless, I got a couple of topics I think we want to talk about today. Let's go. Today, I believe we got a great show planned. And I'll be honest with you, I can't hardly tell if you're watching or not. There is something going on with my there's something going on with my YouTube page today. I got to send in an issue. I don't know. Something's going on, but again, let's see what we can do today. All right, so today we are going to keep it very simple on this Friday, this Friday evening. We only have two topics, and these two topics are going to take up a lot of our time. Well, actually, only one of these topics is going to take up a lot of our time. We are going to talk about one Jaden Blue. Not going to be long. There's an article about him and talking about his aspirations for the 2025 season. But where we are going to spend a lot of our time, it is going to be the Brian Schottenheimer offensive preview. I'm going to let you in on some things that I haven't heard anybody talking about as it applies to the Brian Schottenheimer offense. I believe people may have a misconception about what Brian Schottenheimer and this team plans on doing, because I think we may be getting misguided by what the Cowboys have been doing in free agency and in the draft. But I'm going to give us the complete story, because you need the complete story on Brian Schottenheimer, and this is not a bad thing, but you need the complete story so you can get a real good idea of what to expect, so maybe your expectations aren't somewhere else. All right, I appreciate y'all coming in. Let's get a quick roll call. I can't see with them shades on. Let's go. C-Base in the crib. He says, hey. Jared Thomas in the crib. He says, yo. Yeah, Jared says, more Dak Prescott hate I saw today. People still on it about the Pro Football Focus list. Oh, man, they late. We done moved on from that. That thing is crazy. Big Dal 8604. What's good? He said, what's good on? I said, okay, what's good, nephew? Lisa Worley. What's going on with you? Katharina Kiss in the crib. What's going on? Robert Simmons in the crib. What's up? What's up? D Block 88. What's up, my good brother? Sammy Blackman. What's up? He said, love the show. Appreciate you. Leandrew Sims. How about them Cowboys? Let's go. Oak Cliff Rockefeller. What up? He said, what up, Cowboy Nation? Jameson Taylor. Hope all is well. OG Cowboys fan for life. Let's go. Steven Rogers in the crib. What's up with you? We'll give it a few more seconds, then we're going to get going. Jared says, I would ask him and the Eagles fans this question regarding Hurts. What has Jalen Hurts accomplished without a super team with injuries? Man, hey, they don't understand, Jared. Players matter. Players matter. Players absolutely matter. And I'm telling you, man, we may be looking back on this 2024 NFL Eagles team and say that was probably one of the best teams we've seen in a long time. Boy, that Eagles team was crazy, man. It was crazy, for sure. All right, good to see Drew 912 in here. Sean Springer in the crib. Yeah, let's talk facts. Intelligent Savage in the crib. Yes, sir, let's go get it. Cowboys talk time around here. Yes, sir, let's go. Lee Time in the crib. He says, what up, chat? Lonnie Cabal, what else going on? Neo, not from the Matrix. It's going good. Alex, my man, what's going on? Let's get it. Lost Cowboy says, watching film a while. Great job. Appreciate you. Let's go. Hoodie Kush in the crib too. Let's go. All right. Let's do this Jaden Blue thing first. As I got in my up here on the as I got up here on my agenda for the day. Let's do this Jaden Blue thing first. Cause I'm telling you, I really am interested in your feedback on the Brian Schottenheimer thing. Here we go. I'm very interested to see what y'all think about this. Because I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, and I went back and started doing some research on this. And I think some people may have a misconception about Brian Schottenheimer. I really, really do. And there is a lot to unpack here. So we're going to deal with Jaden Blue real quick first. We're gonna deal with Jaden Blue real quick first, and it's not going to take very long. I released a video today. There's something going on with my page. I actually can't see the progress of that video. I know it's being watched. I just don't know exactly how much is being watched. But nevertheless, we'll get that cleared up with YouTube, hopefully here pretty soon. It looks like quite a few people are watching it. But what I talked about today in the first in the video is Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue may full well be a huge part of the Cowboys championship aspirations. And understand clearly what I'm saying. I said may. You know, people sometimes don't. I've learned something about people. They only hear the parts they want to hear. I said Jaden Blue may be the key. Doesn't mean he's the key. Doesn't mean he's the only key. It means he may be the key or a key. And the reason why I say that is that Jaden Blue is an extremely versatile back. Jaden Blue is extremely versatile. And after doing some research on him, you know, you think about Jaden Blue's stats at Texas. And if you look at Jaden Blue's stats at Texas, they probably won't be that impressive. I think with Jaden Blue, what you're looking at with Jaden Blue is you're looking at his upside. Because if you look at the numbers, Jaden Blue really, when you look at plays, when you look at, for example, I think the Texas playoff games and some of the plays during the season, flash plays, you see the big play potential. But also when you look at Jaden Blue doesn't have stats that are going to knock your socks off. And the reason why Jaden Blue's stats are not going to knock your socks off is because Jaden Blue backed up a couple of really good running backs. One of them in particular was Bijan Robinson. And so when you're looking at Jaden Blue, you have to really take into consideration that he didn't really come into his own until the end of the 2024 college season. Because when you look at him, he doesn't have a lot of mileage on his body. He's one of these running backs, and let me show you his stats. While he's got some extremely great plays, Jaden Blue does not have a lot of mileage on his body. 65 rushes in 2023, 398 yards, 3 touchdowns, 14 receptions for 135 yards and 1 touchdown. It's Jaden Blue. There's a reason why the Cowboys got him in the 5th round. Well, in 2024, he only had 134 rushes for 730 yards. Now, when you look at that, you may think, that's not a lot of yards. But man, when you look at that in the grand scheme of things, let's do some math on that real quick. So when you look at his rushes per carry, he was 5.4 yards per carry. That's a nice chunk of yards right there. That's a nice chunk of yards per carry. So you're looking at 5.4 yards per carry. He had 8 touchdowns. Now, this is the reason why I say that Jaden Blue may be a key to the Dallas Cowboys championship. Because for right now, Javonte Williams looks to be, at least right now, he's number 1 on the depth chart, which is understandable. He's the veteran running back per se. And when you look at Javonte Williams, it looked like Javonte Williams, for all intents and purposes, was on his way to being a really good running back in this league. But this dude had a vicious, and I'm telling you, he had a vicious knee injury. If I'm not mistaken, he tore it all. ACL, MCL, I'm thinking even LCL or whatever the case may be. He tore a severe knee injury. So it's 2 years removed, and he's even saying he's just not starting to feel like himself. But as it applies to Jaden Blue, we don't have to worry about Jaden Blue getting on the field and sharing the load as much with Javonte Williams, because Jaden Blue is so versatile. He will be in the backfield, but he will also be in the passing game. Because the one thing I want to call your attention to, he had 8 touchdowns, but 14 receptions for 368 yards. He had 6 touchdowns in the passing game. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And when you think about how fast he is, how quick he is, he ran one of the fastest times at the combine. What was it? Something like a 4.29, 4.2 something. I mean, he ran an extremely fast time to combine. And he's football fast. When you look at the tape, he's football fast. You look at the scouting report, we know there's a couple of issues that the Cowboys are going to have to shore up with him in the pros. He had a turnover issue in college. In that last season, he had a turnover issue. I think he turned the ball over about, 7 times, somewhere in that range. He had a turnover issue. And even though he's not necessarily what I would call a small running back, I think he's 5'10", maybe 5'10", 5'11", 196 pounds. Doesn't always break through arm tackles. Sometimes arm tackles can get him down. But when you look at the upside, of Jaden Blue, this is where the Cowboys are really, they're salivating, because they know, no, this guy's got big play potential. We saw him in the playoffs. Neo says, Mark Holmes said that Nick Chubb is picking up steam to the Cowboys. I don't know where he got that from. Because according to what I saw yesterday, it is being said that the Chicago Bears, as soon as June 1st, I'm not really up on Nick Chubb's whole situation, but they're saying that post June 1st, the Chicago Bears have every intention on signing Nick Chubb. I actually mentioned that yesterday. Yeah, they're saying the Chicago Bears actually have every intention on picking up Nick Chubb. And if the Cowboys wanted him, I really wouldn't know what would be holding them back. I don't know what detail would be holding them back from going and picking up Nick Chubb if they wanted him. I don't know. If someone else knows, let me know. But I don't know what would be holding them back if they wanted to get him. Because you can basically get Nick Chubb right now for dirt cheap. I mean, for absolutely dirt cheap. Mike McCain, please say it. Please say it, Mike McCain. I'm going to let you get in trouble for it, Mike McCain. Mike McCain says anybody that's comparing Jaden Blue to Deuce Vaughn doesn't understand. Jaden Blue is nothing like Deuce Vaughn. That's just craziness. They are nowhere near each other. I saw this same argument. It's insanity. I'm sorry, no offense to Deuce Vaughn. He's not in the same universe. Deuce Vaughn is not in the same universe as Jaden Blue. I mean, you're talking about a totally different running back, totally different style, totally different size, speed, quickness, everything's different. Every single thing about these two running backs, I don't even understand that comparison either. And I'm sorry, Deuce Vaughn is not close to Jaden Blue. If Deuce Vaughn is close to Jaden Blue, he doesn't even last as long as he did when the Cowboys got him. And the Cowboys, I believe, he would have went undrafted. Deuce Vaughn goes undrafted if the Cowboys don't get him. We all know why they got him. We all know why they got him. We have to stop this stuff. No, this dude, Jaden Blue, can be special, though. Lee Time says Jaden Blue has a similar size to Tony Dorsett. I think he can be a starter. Fresh body, too. Man, this dude, no mileage on the body, man. Absolutely no mileage hardly on the body. You talking college, I mean, it might have benefited him being behind those two running backs. Might have benefited him. The Cowboys are going to be able to get the best out of him. Gary Bookwalter in the crib, what's going on? He said, hit that like button. I agree. Hoodie Kush says, average NFL running back, honestly. I think Jaden Blue's going to be more than that. And the reason why I don't believe he's and let's look over here on Athlon Sports. They got a good article up on him in an interview with him. Now, if you're talking about Jaden Blue is definitely not an average NFL running back. And what makes him not be an average NFL running back? What makes him not be an average NFL running back is his speed. Nah, man, you can't teach speed. You can't teach speed. If there's one thing you can't teach. You can't teach speed. And he got it. And I'm not talking about just combine speed. No, this dude plays fast. When you watch him on the field, it is no surprise that Jaden Blue pulled off a 4.2 840. It's no surprise. No, he plays fast. He plays fast. He's quick. He can stop. He can start. Yeah, he nice with it. He nice with it. Okay, Hoodie, because you may be talking about his size. But he nice with it. Yeah, he nice with it. When you watch the tape on him, you can see the flashes of, I see why the Cowboys got him. I see exactly why the Cowboys got him. But he's also going to play into my Brian Schottenheimer breakdown. Jaden Blue is going to play into the Brian Schottenheimer preview that I believe I'm going to blow your mind with. But Jaden Blue could absolutely be a key. And it's funny that, I talk about that he's and I don't even call him Tony. Some people may say he's comparable to Tony Pollard. I think he's better than Tony Pollard. I think he has the potential to be better than Tony Pollard because as good as Tony Pollard was, he was never this fast. Tony Pollard was never this fast. The moves, the versatility, I think he's even more versatile than Tony Pollard. It's kind of funny, I just, mentioning Tony Pollard. Let's slip a story in as we're talking about Jaden Blue because some have also compared him to Tony Pollard. Looks like there's a story over here on Athlon Sports saying that the Cowboys dodged a bullet with Tony Pollard. It says over here, and then, like I say, we'll use this in the Jaden Blue story. Says concerning Tony Pollard, reports suggest Cowboys dodged the bullet. I haven't read it, so I might not even agree with it. It says the Dallas Cowboys let running back Tony Pollard walk in the 2023 free agency. While their run game hasn't improved, they might still have made the right choice in moving on. It says running back Tony Pollard spent 5 seasons with the Cowboys, 2019 to 23, and just as he's begun to burst onto the scene as a potential feature back, he was off to another team. Pollard for years had shown pops of electrifying potential in Dallas. However, in the beginning of his career, he was still stuck in the shadows of former NFL rushing champion Ezekiel Elliott. And I saw also on X, people were having a discussion about Zeke being a bust. Zeke was not a bust. Zeke was an absolute dominant running back. Zeke's problem was Zeke didn't take care of himself, I believe, the way that he should have. And that's why his career tapered off quicker than most people with his kind of talent did. But I don't think he was a bust. But I digress. It says after a surprising 2022 season that earned him a greater role, the 2023 season saw Pollard officially take the reins. He was put on the franchise tag, which was one of the dumbest things I thought the Cowboys did. Should have never put Tony Pollard on the franchise tag. It was crazy to me. Franchise tags and was expected to display his exciting potential with a major increase in starts and carries. Yeah, he was also coming off of a broken leg. No way. It says, but things didn't quite feel right. It says the former fourth round pick of the Cowboys rushed for just over 1,000 yards, but only at 4.0 yards per carry, playing in every game in the process. That left the Cowboys with a tough decision on Pollard in his ensuing free agency. Pollard would eventually walk, signing with the Tennessee Titans on a 3-year, $21.7 million contract to be their next starting ball carrier. It says last season was a slight uptick in production, 1,079 yards and 5 touchdowns, but one concern still lingered. Is Tony Pollard fit to be a reliable number one option, or is he best suited as a complementary piece? Okay, we'll answer that question in a moment. It says a recent report from the Titans team website points to the Tennessee head coach Brian Callahan grappling with this issue. The team is reportedly considering a division of labor by splitting carries throughout this season to prioritize health, which we gather is just a fancy way of saying running back by committee. But I think in a perfect world, it's a healthier division of labor. I think Pollard ended up carrying the ball a lot. He was our most productive running back. And with Tyjae Spears, had some injuries early too, Callahan said. So I think what they're basically saying in the grand scheme of things is that Tony Pollard is maybe he's more of a complimentary back than a number one back. And I don't know if maybe he's more of a complimentary back, but I do say, I guess maybe I'm saying he is a complimentary back because maybe it's a fancy way of saying I think Tony Pollard is better served being the 1 or the 2 in a 1-2 punch. Because when he was healthy with the Dallas Cowboys, I think that was the best thing for Tony Pollard. Being the 1-2 in a 1-2 punch, being the 1 or the 2 in a 1-2 punch, keeping him pretty fresh in the run game, letting him be a change of pace for a bruiser-type running back, or letting a bruiser-type running back be the change of pace for him, but also working him into the passing game. And that leads me back to Jaden Blue. This is why I think Jaden Blue is going to be so dangerous. Because Jaden Blue has the potential to be and I do think he's going to be in the Cowboys passing game and in the Cowboys running game. And when I think about the fact that you're going to have George Pickens, you're going to have Kevontae Turpin, and now you're going to be able to put Jaden Blue out on the field, not as a runner, but you're going to be able to have him out there on the field as another pass option. And just imagine him coming out of the backfield and being matched up on a linebacker. Boy, woo! Man, that's going to be a problem for whoever that team is. It's going to be a problem for whoever that team is. I mean, we're just thinking about CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, Kevontae Turpin, and Jake Ferguson being on the field. And Machota, he included even Jalen Tolbert in that. But I'm also thinking about when you put Jaden Blue out there on that field at the same time. Man, the speed that is on that field, the playmakers that'll be on that field at the same time, man, that is crazy. That'll be crazy. We got to get it on the field. We got to get it on the field and get it to really materialize in jail. We got to get it into we got to get it in the training camp and see what it looks like, see what the scheme looks like. But I think once they get it figured out, man, this dude, I am telling us, and if you haven't seen it, I want you to see this article over here on Athlon Sports. You can go over there and read the entire article on your own. But where I want to go to is I want to get right to the good part. I want to get right to the good part and look at the video where Jaden Blue is talking about himself. I'll read a couple of lines out of here that I thought was very interesting. It talks about how he ran a 4.28 40-yard dash. And again, I'm telling y'all, this is not just combine speed with this dude. When you look at the tape, he plays fast. Unlike a lot of other people, he plays fast. Not only does he play fast, but he's saying that his goal is to be the offensive rookie of the year. He said that's his prediction. I believe he could very well be the rookie of the year if the Cowboys use him not just in the run game, but in the run game and the pass game. I could see him easily having plenty of all-purpose yards. Plenty of all-purpose yards. But he said that's kind of what his aspirations are, is to be the rookie of the year. And again, I'm telling you, here's the part of the article that I am agreeing with. It says what Blue brings to the table isn't just his incredible breakaway speed, but it's his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. That is exactly going to be the thing that can really take this Cowboys offense to the next level. We have been needing playmakers in the passing game. And there will be games, I'm telling you, we are going to need more than CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. A la enter in not only Kevontae Turpin, now we got Jaden Blue. He needs to be a huge part of the run game and the passing game. He totaled 6 receiving touchdowns against or for the Longhorns last season, and believes the attention he puts on that phase of the game is what sets him apart. And you got to hear what and I'm going to let you hear him in his own words. I was so impressed when I heard him in this video. Check this out.
He was the one who called me when they drafted me, so I didn't know it was them. It said the star at the bottom. And I answered the phone, and they was like, Jaden. I was like, yes, sir. He's like, this is Jerry Jones.
Wait, did you know right away, though, or did you have to, did you, when you heard the voice?
No, I didn't. I had to watch the video to know it was him, yeah. He's like, we're going to make you a Cowboy. I was like, appreciate it. And once I got to Ricky minicamp,
yes, sir, C-Base.
He pulled me to the side and had a little conversation with me and told me that, I was going to be a big part to take this team to where it needed to be.
Take me inside that running back room.
Yeah.
Now you got Javonte. I think Miles Sanders is there. Some of my favorite guys, good guys to learn from.
Yeah, man, great room. They've been there, done it, 5-7 years. Both of those guys are great guys. I'm learning from them now, and we're going to get super close in that room. That's something our coach emphasized in that room. So, I'm ready to get started with those guys.
Yeah, you're like a receiver. It's an amazing thing to watch highlights. I remember just in the draft process learning about you.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in being able to run routes and catch the ball. I've been doing.
It's that right there. He said, I take pride in running routes and catching the football. Now, it's the other part that he's about to say that really caught me off guard and made me realize that this guy is really a natural wide receiver.
Doing it since maybe 14, 15 years old. I played 7-on-7 and I played strictly receiver.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing, no running back things. And when I go train, I do a lot of receiver stuff.
Yeah, he's a natural wide receiver. Now, I believe the reason why he's not a wide receiver, well, look at his size. He's built like a running back. Jaden Blue may very well be a running back or may very well be a wide receiver in a running back's body. That's why he's not a wide receiver. He don't have the wide receiver body. But he's got the wide receiver mentality. He's got hands. He works on that craft of being a wide receiver, running routes, and he's quick. He's quick, he's fast, and 196 pounds to me is not small. I mean, that's not a small dude. but maybe in the running back realm, he's a lot slimmer. So he's a slender dude. But the stature is still not necessarily wide receiver stature. So again, he's kind of like a wide receiver in a running back's body, kind of like a hybrid. And so this is where I believe the Cowboys, and I'm sure this is one of the reasons why they got him, he will be another weapon in the passing game. Boy, I'm telling you, this dude, can you imagine a fake handoff? You give him a fake handoff, then he scoots out of the backfield, he scoots out into the backfield, and you got him on a linebacker. It's over. It's over. It's a foot race. And I already know the linebackers are going to lose that foot race. The foot race is going to be between him and the safeties. The Cowboys now, I'm telling you, man, the things they should be able to do with this guy, if Brian Schottenheimer does some of the things that I believe that Brian Schottenheimer is going to do, man.
Because some of the running back stuff is natural for me, so I'm trying to take my receiver game to the next level so I can be the next great back to come out of Dallas.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Off the top of the head, 6 touchdown catches last year. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're right. I had 6.
So you're working on it. What does that even mean for the NFL? What does that even mean for your rookie season? 6 touchdown catches out of blue.
Just trying to improve every week.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaden Blue gonna be serious. If the Cowboys work him in right, he gonna be serious. He gonna be serious if they work him in right. If they use him right, he gonna be serious. Yeah, Big Cloud, these players they're putting around Dak are explosive and potential X factors in every game. Boy, they're going to be hard to deal with. Once they get this thing together, they are going to be hard to deal with. King Juanito, he says, I think Jaden Blue is a Bijan Robinson type. Yeah, he's going to be hard to deal with, man. And the thing is, he's faster. He's faster than Bijan. Man, this dude different. Hey, R-Dub, appreciate you. He said, what up, G? I always love your content. Appreciate you. Hey, man, I'm about to really put something down with this Brian Schottenheimer thing. I hope you enjoy it. But Jaden Blue, man, Jaden Blue different. I'm just telling you. Mike McCain is saying it right too. Mike McCain says Jaden Blue. The operative phrase is lethal speed. Yeah, he got lethal speed. Yeah, because the thing that makes him lethal, he's not just fast, but he's quick. He lethal. Mike McCain says Jaden Blue has lethal speed, and he can stop on a dime. Same thing I said in the video. His start and stop ability is second to none. His stop and start ability is second to none. And the way he can kick those gears back in when he stops and gets back going, whoa, man. Jordan Blue has the potential that if the Cowboys can use him right. Iceberg Slim. Yeah, I'm going. I see where you're going. Reggie Bush. And the thing about him, where I would categorize him, I can definitely see the Reggie Bush thing. Yeah, because Jaden Blue, now the knock on him is doesn't always break through some of those arm tackles. Sometimes he does, but sometimes he doesn't. But yeah, Reggie Bush was dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. And I think where he may have a leg up, even on Reggie Bush. And man, let me be very careful in what I'm saying, because Reggie Bush, boy, Reggie was crazy. Is that he may be a little bit more durable than Reggie. Because Reggie, what really hampered Reggie, we're going to see what happens with Jaden. Reggie, when he got to the pros, he couldn't quite take some of the hits, man. And it always seems like he was nicked up. But yeah, Jaden Blue, boy, the potential, ooh, boy, the potential is there, man. Again, appreciate you, Big Dad, for that super chat in case I didn't give you the applause. Neo not from the Matrix. Appreciate that super chat. Yeah, and that's why I'm prefacing what I'm saying. Still early. Yeah, got to get it on the field. Got to let it cook. But when it comes together, the defense has to scheme for an entire offense now instead of one or two players. Man, let me tell you something. And we talked about Jalen Tolbert yesterday. I'm just telling us. Jalen Tolbert should even be good in this offense. Jalen Tolbert should be good in this offense. Jalen Tolbert last year had 2.3 yards of separation. Jalen Tolbert with all these weapons, Jalen Tolbert should be able to eat some too. He's not going to be able to eat a lot, but he should be able to eat too. When you talk about the potential of what the Cowboys are going to be able to put on the field at any given moment, it is going to be insanity. Insanity. Even when you include, and I don't know why people aren't talking as much about Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa is a beast. Phil Maffa is a beast. Cowboys got playmakers, man. And I hope they keep adding. They have playmakers. Man, I'm just telling you. I'm gonna talk like Angie now. Angie said in one of these chats one day, she said, I'm greedy. Shoot, let me tell you something. If the Cowboys, and I'm not gonna believe it, I'm not gonna believe it until I see some more. They talking about the Cowboys could potentially get Kyle Pitts. Go get him. Go get Kyle Pitts. Man, let me tell you something. I'm like Michael Jackson. Don't stop till you get enough. When it comes to weaponry, I don't think you can have enough. Don't stop till you get enough. Don't stop till you get enough. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think we need Nick Chubb. I don't think we need Nick Chubb. You don't think I don't want Nick Chubb? Shoot. Boy, if the Cowboys could pull off Nick Chubb, bring him in. Bring him in. I wish the Cowboys could pull off Nick Chubb. Man, Nick Chubb, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, Javonte Williams. Man, I wish they would bring in Nick Chubb. Man, I'm telling you, with the way the Cowboys are going, shoot, man, if the Cowboys could get Keenan Allen in here and put him in the slot, bring him in. I know it's not happening, but if the Cowboys could get Keenan Allen with now George Pickens, shoot, bring him in. I don't know, that might be too much though. Boy, that might be too much. That might be too much right there. I'd love to have them problems, but boy, I don't even know if they made to handle all them problems. Boy, that's too many problems right there. That's too many. That might actually be too much. B Fatty, he said Gallup shredded his knee and Jerry gave him $100 million. Demo had a career injury. Jerry paid him. Revel has a knee injury. This organization loves Hey, I ain't gonna agree with you on Savon Revel Jr. Savon Revel Jr. is not a bum. Every pundit I've heard said Savon Revel Jr. is the first cornerback off the board if he's not injured. Savon Revel Jr. did not shred his knee. Savon Revel Jr. had what you call basically a typical ACL injury, and everything is all good with it. Nah, he gonna be fine. Savon Revel Jr. man, they gotta steal with him. Yeah, they definitely gotta steal with him. Mike McCain, the Cowboys made no mistakes by getting rid of Tony Pollard. He had exactly to the T as many yards as Rico Dowdle, exact yards from scrimmage. Excuse me. Yeah, the only problem I had with the Cowboys and Tony Pollard, I don't think they should have paid him after that, after he came off the broke leg and they gave him the franchise. I was furious, bro. That was a waste of money. That was a waste of money. But again, I'm telling us, man, Jaden Blue has the potential. Jaden Blue has the potential to be absolutely crazy for the Cowboys. All right, I'm gonna move. We're gonna move because boy, this next subject matter. This next subject matter, we are going to spend the entirety of the remaining show. We are going to spend the entirety of this remaining show talking about this. What we're going to talk about is a preview of Brian Schottenheimer's offense.
Yes! Here we go!
You know, we've been talking about the Cowboys running the ball. A lot of people have been talking about the Cowboys running the ball. People have even been talking about balance and all of those things. And even when you look back at the stats for Brian Schottenheimer and how with the Seattle Seahawks in particular, how with the Seattle Seahawks, you know, he ran the ball. Well, I've been doing a little bit of digging. And I'm going to show you something that we might better pump the brakes on the Cowboys running the ball 35, 38, 40 times a game. We might ought to pump the brakes on that. And the reason why we might ought to pump the brakes on that, let me take you through something. I found this the other day. I wanted to look back at Brian Schottenheimer's I want to look back at Brian Schottenheimer's time with Russell Wilson in particular, because that's really his most recent work other than the Cowboys. So I wanted to look back at it. And I know a lot of people, I've been seeing all this Clayton Adams. We got Clayton Adams, and because we got Clayton Adams, we're going to do this and do that. Hold on a second. Don't think because we got Clay Adams or Clayton Adams that we're going to be doing this, that, and the third. Don't put that in your mind. Clayton Adams, while he is I guess he's the OC, I guess that's what they're calling him, he's really not the OC. The OC is Brian Schottenheimer. Jerry Jones made that very clear. Brian Schottenheimer is the OC. He will be calling the plays. And the plays that will be getting called, they will be Brian Schottenheimer's plays. Now, where Clayton Adams is going to help us out is that when we run the ball, Clayton Adams is going to be able to implement some of his run concepts that Brian Schottenheimer was so impressed with. It's his run concepts. Because one of the things that I was looking at as it applies to Clayton Adams, well, what I couldn't figure out is, because I always got to ask the questions that I guess that other folk don't ask out loud, that when you start talking about a guy like Clayton Adams, well, I got to know why were the Cowboys able to get him? And not only were the Cowboys able to get him from the Arizona Cardinals, when you start reading some of the articles that these beat writers from Arizona are writing, well, what they're kind of wondering is, they're kind of saying the same thing too, is that the Arizona Cardinals allowed him to walk away without little resistance. And so then my question starts to become, why would the Arizona Cardinals, with all the success they had with him, why would they let Clayton Adams walk away? Because I'm telling you, they did not. I mean, I've been reading up on this, and a lot of people were kind of the same way, that they basically let him walk away with, look at this. I've been reading up on this. It's fascinating, man, as I'm doing the research on this. So it says the only position coach that Michael Bidwell and Monte Ossenford hired in 2023 to have produced 2 years of top 10 excellence was offensive line coach Clayton Adams. Okay? Today we have to say was because Jerry Jones and his new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, identified Clayton Adams as one of the premium offensive line coaches in the NFL. They swept into the desert like tumbleweed and managed to sign Adams to be their offensive coordinator, seemingly without any significant resistance from the Cardinals. Why was there no resistance? Why was there no resistance? And what I'm about to tell you is I'm not about to tell you that he's not good. I think he's good. I mean, even they're saying he's good. They're wondering too, like, what happened? Why would the Arizona Cardinals allow such a good coach to just walk away? And someone over on X, Outlaw on X, he was kind of showing some of the plays. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted on this. It says that the pen and pull Clayton Adams will be bringing to the Cowboys is going to feed families. He says, give me a back like Genty, Hampton, or Johnson in this scheme and inject it into my veins. Now, I want to reread what he said. Let me show it to you on the screen. Outlaw says, give me a back like Genty. We didn't get him. Give me a back like Hampton. Well, we didn't get him. Give me a back like Johnson. We didn't get him. In this scheme and inject it straight into my veins. Now, I'm saying all this for a reason. And kind of when you look at, let me see here. Somebody else wrote, even simple 1-yard runs at the goal line are more strategically schemed. And I thought this video was just absolutely awesome. Says, watch 63 pull here, and Benson patiently walks in. Dallas needs this infusion of fresh thoughts and ideas. Now, I know unequivocally, this is why the Cowboys got Clayton Adams. Because of this type of work right here. Look at this. And I'm not going to turn the sound up. I'm trying not to get copyrighted on this. So let's look at what he's talking about. You're going to see number 63 pull. Let's go. All right, he took us over to X. Let's check it out. Did you see the pull by number 63 that he's talking about? Let me rewind it. Look at the design. Bam. Nice. I see. Look at bam. That's nice. See, this is what they got him for. He's not the OC as much as he's going to help implement some of the things that he did in Arizona in the run game. But I'm going to show you something of why they may have let him walk. So again, I mean, very good on his part. And then Outlaw, he gives you the full meal deal on him too. And let's see. What I'm going to do, because he's got quite a few clips on him. I was going to see if I could maybe get that post. So what I'll do is I'll put this post down in the chat for you guys to go look at it as we're talking about this, so you can check him out. But again, the Cardinals let him walk away, and so I started wondering, like, well, why would the Cardinals kind of let this guy walk away? I mean, he's really, if he's really all that in a bag of chips, and then other questions start going through my head too, that if he's all that in a bag of chips, also, why didn't other teams go and run to get him also? Why did they go and get him? Why didn't they go get him also? So, you have to ask these questions if you really want to get the, answer these questions. But I also think there may be a logical reason. Hoodie Kush says, because the Cardinals had an OC and they didn't want to elevate him, we got him because we gave him a promotion. That part is true. A part of that is true. But I think there's another part. I think there is another part, and this is why I'm gonna start moving us toward why I believe we need to really pump the brakes on what we're saying and what we're thinking about the offense of Brian Schottenheimer and what it's going to look like with this team. So I'm gonna show you something. My spidey senses got to tingling, and I said, hold on a second. Let me go back to when Brian Schottenheimer was with the Seattle Seahawks, because that is the most recent, that's going to be the most recent thing we're going to have as it pertains to one Brian Schottenheimer. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Brian Schottenheimer get there in 2018? I'm thinking Brian Schottenheimer. Let me make sure. I think it was 2018. I think it was 2018 that he got with the Seattle Seahawks. Let me make sure. Yeah, 2018. The 2018 stint. From 2018, and this is what I want you to focus on. From 2018 to 2020, he was with the Seattle Seahawks. And boy, I'm telling you, it was rough. He was the offensive pass game coordinator. I don't know if that means a lot, but the Jacksonville Jaguars were atrocious in 2021. They were 3-14. But from 2018 to 2020, that's Brian Schottenheimer. So I had to go back and look because I said, okay, I remember what the record was. 2018, it was 10-6. 2019, it was 11-5, I think it was. Yeah, and then 2020, it was 12-4. So we saw this progression with we saw this great progression with Russell Wilson. And he really gave Russell Wilson literally, three of the greatest of his career. He really did. And you're talking late in Russell Wilson's career, man. Russell is 30 years of age. He comes in here and boy, he really gave him some good years. But I started wondering, what happened? And I also looked at the fact that they went 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. You really start looking at this stuff. And Brian Schottenheimer, he's a winning coach at the time when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. And I know sometimes coaches get impatient. I don't understand people who go to the playoffs with a coach and say, well, we got to the second round, but it ain't good enough. We're letting this guy go, which is crazy to me when people do stuff like that. But I digress. So I started wondering, so now what? What is going on with Brian Schottenheimer's offense? Because we know he can run the ball. So is running the ball the reason why the Seattle Seahawks went from 10-6, 11-5 to 12-4? So I started saying, okay, hold on a second. So Brian Schottenheimer is doing all this running. And, he's saying how proud he is of what he's done in the run game and things of that nature. Well, let's do a little bit more research. So one of the things that I wanted to know was, what was the roster? What was the roster in those 3 years with Brian Schottenheimer? And not only what was the roster, how did things change when the roster changed? And this is going to be the part that is going to blow your mind, and why I'm now saying, hold on a second. We might need to pump the brakes. We might need to pump the brakes just a little bit as we continue to talk about Brian Schottenheimer and what this team is going to do. So let me take you back to 2018. This roster for the Seattle Seahawks is going to tell you something that now makes so much sense to me. Let me take you back to 2018. This is the 10-6 Seattle Seahawks. And I want you to pay attention to the fact, let me see. When you look at the games that they played, the 2018 Seattle Seahawks statistics, I want to take you to this first. When you look at their pass attempts, 427 attempts, 280 completions. When you look at the run game, 534 attempts. Wow. 534 to 427. That's 2018. They're 10-6 in 2018. Brian Schottenheimer comes into Seattle. He runs the ball more than he throws the ball, right? He runs the ball more than he throws the ball. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Let me look at this a little bit closer. I wanted to go back to the roster. And this is why I'm being very cautious about the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go back and look at the wide receivers. What would make Brian Schottenheimer run the ball more? So Russell Wilson, 280 for 427, 3,448 yards, 35 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 67 rushes for 376 yards. But then I look at the running back. Okay, the running back is Chris Carson. Chris Carson, I believe at this time he's pretty good. 1,151 yards, 9 touchdowns, 20 catches for 163 yards. Anybody want to pay attention to the wide receivers? Look at the wide receivers. Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, David Moore. The tight end is Nick Van Nett. So if that's your receiving crew, are you going to run the ball more or pass the ball more? I'll wait. That's your receiving crew. Yeah, you're going to run the ball a lot. You're going to run the ball a lot, man. Doug Baldwin had 50 catches for 618 yards. Tyler Lockett, 57 catches for 965 yards. David Moore, 26 catches. Nick Van Nett, 29 catches. Yeah, we probably need to run the ball, man. Yeah, if that's my team, I'm probably saying, yeah, man, we're going to have to really run the ball. And we're going to have to run it good, and we're going to have to run it hard. We got to run the ball because we really don't have those type of wide receivers. So what we need to do as far as Russell Wilson goes, what will help us is if we can really get behind the run game and then we use the passing game to play off the run game. Right? Let me show you what happened. Let me show you what happened. But you want to know what wound up happening in 2019? Something happened in 2019 that changed all of this. Something happened in 2019 that flipped all of this. It not only flipped all of this, but it also led to them winning more games. It led to them winning more games. It led to the moniker, "Let Russ cook." Can anybody guess what happened in 2019 before I show you? What happened to the Seattle Seahawks in 2019 that made things change in Seattle? Somebody tell me. The ghost of Mike McCarthy says, I don't think much of Shotty's time in Seattle because he went in there right when Russell and Carroll feud had begun. Russ wanted to pass more. Carroll loves to run. Ghost of Mike McCarthy, I'm about to blow your mind. Oh, yeah, I'm about to blow your mind. I do put stock into it. I put stock into it because something happened in Seattle in 2019 that's similar to what's just happened to the Dallas Cowboys in 2025. Something similar just happened. Before I show it, I'm going to let y'all catch up. What happened in 2019? What happened in 2019 to the Seattle Seahawks that changed Brian Schottenheimer's entire outlook? What changed in 2019? Somebody tell me before I tell you. Yeah, ratio. Pete Carroll's defensive mind makes sense that there would be a clash between Schotty and him, but learning from a legend counts for something. Yeah. But what happened in 2019? I'm about to blow your mind. What happened in 2019? Now, y'all are saying something, but I'm going to show you something where Schotty did get his influence in. And I don't believe the whole thing in I don't think that the thing in 2018. I don't think it's a matter of Pete Carroll. This is what I'm telling us about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm taking you somewhere. Do you not realize, as much as people want to be balanced on offense, and I'm even going to take this all the way over to Clayton Adams too. I'm going to show you why that the Arizona Cardinals might have let him walk with no resistance. And you don't have to agree with me. But I'm going to tell you, this is football. Your roster dictates your identity. Your roster dictates your identity. I don't care if you're a running coach. I don't care if you're a running OC. I don't care if you're a running head coach. I don't care if your entire franchise philosophy is running the football. If you don't have the running backs to run the football, then your identity can't be running the football. If you don't have the offensive line to run the football, your identity can't be running the football. I don't care what you do. Your roster dictates your identity. If your coach is a running coach, then you go out and you say, let's build it inside out. You don't build it outside in. You build it inside out. You start with the line. We got to get the line together. Now, stay with me. When Jimmy came in, Jimmy started building from the inside out. Jimmy started building from the inside out. Jimmy said, I got to get the trenches. I got to get my O-line and I got to get my D-line right. Because if I don't get my O-line and D-line right, it ain't going to matter who I got on the outside. And it definitely ain't going to matter who I got at quarterback. It's not going to matter who the running back is. I got to get an O-line. I got to get a D-line. They get their O-line. They get their D-line right. See, a lot of people don't realize Jimmy just didn't get the O-line right. Jimmy got the D-line right too. He got both of them right. Then what did Jimmy do? Jimmy is building from the inside out. Let's spread out a little bit more. Let's make sure we get Emmitt Smith in this thing. Let's make sure we get Alvin Harper in this thing. We got Michael Irvin. We got Alvin Harper. We got a line. We got Emmitt Smith. The Dallas Cowboys identity, even with one of the best wide receiver duos in the league at that time, their identity was not Troy Aikman and throwing the ball. Their identity was what? Running the ball in defense. Your roster. Your roster dictates your identity. And if your identity is going to be running the ball, then you got to go get what fits your identity. And when I look at what happened with the Seattle Seahawks, it had nothing to do, at least when you're looking at this, I don't think it had nothing to do with any kind of quarrel per se going on between Pete Carroll and one Brian Schottenheimer, other than his firing, other than them letting him go, of which they should not have let him go. But what happened in 2019? That's my question to us. What happened in 2019 that changed things in Seattle and gave Brian Schottenheimer the leg up that he wanted to really start doing what he wanted. What was it? Let me read this super chat. My man Alex, appreciate you. Alex says, the wide receiver duo is going to be so good to where teams are going to focus on stopping the pass, and that's when our dominant run game is going to come in. Alex, watch how what you just said is going to play into what I'm going to show us. Rein DK Metcalf came to town. DK Metcalf came to town, Renan. DK Metcalf came to town, 70s fan. And Brian Schottenheimer, who ran the ball more in 2018 than he did passing it when DK Metcalf came to town. That offense changed. And when I tell you that offense changed, that offense changed. Look at 2019. Look at this. That offense changed. That offense got them one more win, 11-5. And let me tell you something. You might not think that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Man, when you get a player and he gets you one more win, let me show you again. Boy, I know. I got to really show us how big of a deal this is. Man, let me show you how big of a deal this is. Them dudes went 10-6. They lost the wild card game to none other than our Dallas Cowboys, 24-22. Them boys brought in DK Metcalf, and look at what happened. It got them one more game. They go to the wild card game, beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and they went to the divisional round and lost to the Green Bay Packers on one of the most controversial plays. They lost on a controversial play. They didn't lose because they lost. They lost on a controversial play. 23-28. Look at this. Boy, you want to talk about a swing? Look at what happened when they got that run game going. Hold on a second. So now, 517 attempts? What? 517 attempts. And then 481 rushing yards. 481 rushing attempts. While that is balanced, but the scale went a little bit more towards the passing game. The scale went a little bit more towards the passing game. It really did. It went a little bit more towards the passing game. And then when you start looking at the stats and things for those games, man, when I tell you that DK Metcalf went off the chain. DK Metcalf went off the chain in his first and then his second season with the doggone Seattle Seahawks. This man went off the chain. He really did. What wound up happening is that the players, the roster dictated what they did. And let me see if I can pull up the roster here. Let me pull it up. The roster started dictating what they were doing. The roster dictated it. You want to know why? Because when you got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, can you explain to me why you going to run the ball 600 times? Why would you run the ball 600 times with that combination? You're not running the ball 600 times with that particular combination. All right, hold on a second. I'm trying to navigate all these doggone menus. Okay, here it is. Look at this. You remember that wide receiving core from the year before? Look at what happened when DK Metcalf got in town. The running back room, Kenneth Walker III, 153 yards. 153 rushes, 573 yards. And hold on, I got the wrong one. Hold on. Yeah, let me go back. Y'all forgive me. I'm trying to navigate all this stuff. All right, let's go back. 2019. This is the roster. Look at this. When I tell you that DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett went off the chain gang, they went off the chain gang compared to that combination they had the year before. Look at this. Lockett went to 82 catches for 1,057. And that boy DK Metcalf as a rookie, 58 for 900. Went off the chain. Went off the chain. Absolutely went off the chain. Why would you run the ball more when you got that combination of wide receivers? Why would you run the ball more? Why would you do it? There is no way you're running the ball more with that combination. There's no way. You're not doing it. I know we love to talk about identity. What's the Cowboys' identity going to be? Can I give you a clue? What's the roster? Tell me how the roster built. Tell me how the roster built, I'll tell you your identity. Tell me how your defensive roster built, I'll tell you your identity. I can tell you what's been the problem with the Dallas Cowboys for the last couple of years, for the last few years. Their defensive identity, it can only be named in one word: soft. The Dallas Cowboys defensive identity up until this time has been soft. You want to know why? Because they haven't had anybody in the middle. When you don't have the correct defensive tackles in the middle, and teams run all up and down through you, all up and down up the field, you're soft because you can't stop the run. And I don't care if you win 14 games a season, you're getting stopped before you get to the Super Bowl. You're going to get stopped. I don't care if you got a premier quarterback. I don't care if you have a premier offense. The easiest thing to do to beat you is to keep those weapons off the field. We'll run up and down the field. We'll win the time of possession. We'll win the time of possession. We'll batter and beat you to death. We'll score 4 touchdowns on you on the ground. And every time you get on the field, we're going to put the pressure on you. You better score a touchdown. Because if you don't score a touchdown, we're going to beat you. And if it comes down to the last drive of the game, we're going to beat you. Because we're going to drive it down. 13-play drive. We're going to take all the time off the clock. We're going to beat you. Trenches win championships. The Cowboys' defensive identity has been soft. And when you think about their offensive identity, what has it been? Well, we already know a part of it was that stale-ish toast West Coast offense. Do y'all know the reality of our offensive identity? And this is why right now Dak Prescott gets so much hate. Dak Prescott has been our offensive identity. No, we actually haven't had one other than his name is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has been our offensive identity. We do not understand. When the Cowboys go to the playoffs, it's Dak or bust. It's Dak Prescott or bust. That's been our identity. This team right here, we gotta see what it looks like on the field. And again, we may have to give it a year. They could really take off, but I think it's going to take a year. We got to get it in. It's probably going to take a year. That's why y'all been hearing me say I've said this from the beginning. 2026 will be the Cowboys Super Bowl run, but it could be this year. I'm not going to say it can't happen. There's a lot of things that's going to have to happen. And I think if it is going to be this year, the Cowboys need to do a few more things. But in the grand scheme of things, people talk about Dak Prescott has had weapons. No, you don't understand what you're saying. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. It's not the same. It's not the same as CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. When Amari Cooper is here, CeeDee Lamb isn't the CeeDee Lamb that we know now. It's not the same CeeDee Lamb. But the CeeDee Lamb we have, the CeeDee Lamb we have now, which wasn't the same CeeDee Lamb when Amari Cooper came here in 2019. The issue is George Pickens is at a different point in his career than what CeeDee Lamb was. George Pickens is at the point in his career where CeeDee Lamb was last year, contract year. Coming off a big, I've come into my own, coming off a big season. I'm showing I can be the number one receiver in the room. That's where CeeDee Lamb is right now. And CeeDee Lamb is past that. CeeDee Lamb is the man in the room. Well, George Pickens is where CeeDee Lamb was last year. George Pickens has already proven he's a dog in this league. Already proved it. Already been toasting number one cornerbacks. Already been the number one wide receiver. That is George Pickens. We got George Pickens at the perfect time. Contract season. Oh, yeah. You better believe it. Boy, when you get a wide receiver, I don't care what position, when you get a talented player in a contract season, it might be the best year you might ever see from. I'm sorry. It might be the best year you ever see from that player. It might full well be the best season you see from him. That's not where we were then. This wide receiver duo right here. I'm just telling you. Still has changed some things. Tony Romo never had this combination. He never had this combination. But let us preface with this. Let's not heat too much on this in the first season, because that's where the Dak Prescott haters are going. They'll be the same ones saying, let's wait and see what Jaden Blue is. And then at the end of the season, if the Cowboys don't go to the Super Bowl, Dak had George Pickens, he had Jaden Blue. Let's calm down. This is a great group of weapons. But the expectation of Brian Schottenheimer first year, all these new coaches first year, a lot of rookies. We're gonna probably have about 4 or 5 rookies starting. We got free agents in here. Let's see where we're cooking at by midseason. Even though I think they're going to be able to win a lot of games. But when you're talking about getting to the Super Bowl, you're going to need a little bit more. And the reason why I know you're going to need a little bit more, because look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a whole lot. They didn't give Jalen Hurts a little bit. They gave him a lot. They gave him the top defense in football. The top defensive line in football. They gave him one of the best offensive lines in football. They made sure they kept one of the best wide receiver duos in football. They made sure they kept one of the best tight ends in football. And don't you let me forget. I'm sorry, we don't even need to call to call Saquon Barkley the cherry on top is disrespect to this man. Saquon Barkley was the whipped cream, an extra scoop, nuts, chocolate, caramel, and 3 cherries on top. Saquon Barkley changed life for that team. Saquon Barkley, with everything they added, changed life. And that's why I'm saying, even with everything the Cowboys have, they're going to need a little bit more. Especially with a first-year coach. First-year coaches. brand new schemes, especially defensively. All these things got to cook. We're going to see flashes of what we're going to see next year. I'm just saying, Dak has more wide receiver wise than Romo had. But I still think Romo had the edge as it applies to the run game. DeMarco Murray was in his prime with Tony Romo. And that dude went banana bonkers for 2 seasons. Dak was a rookie. He wasn't at the point in his career where Tony Romo was when he had Zeke. See, a lot of folk don't understand there's context to this stuff. There's a difference in being a rookie quarterback with Zeke and being a veteran quarterback with DeMarco Murray. That's different. And Dez Bryant, Jason Witten and those guys, that's different. So this is going to need a little bit more time to cook. But I am saying, though, Cowboys got a roster. They got a roster. And you give it one more year, and they are going to achieve exactly what Stephen Jones said. His goal was to have the best roster in the NFL. We're not there yet. That's the part Cowboy fans should be looking forward to. We're not there yet. Yeah, we're going to win some games. And I still believe we can win 12 games. Don't mean we're there yet. Could we go to the Super Bowl? Yeah. But in order for us to do it, they're going to have to make a couple more tweaks. And I think they might even need to make some tweaks that some of us aren't even thinking about. They need to make some tweaks. When you're talking about Super Bowls, nah, bro, you don't leave nothing to chance when you're talking about Super Bowls. Philly didn't do it. The Rams didn't do it when they went and got Matthew Stafford. The Cowboys didn't do it in the 90s. The 49ers didn't do it in the 90s. When you're talking about going to a Super Bowl, you don't leave nothing to chance. You don't leave nothing to chance. Boy, you go out there and say, man, we're going to get more than what we need. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. And I'm going to come to your super chats in just a second. But I'm saying all that to say, when you look at the way our team is presently constructed, offensively, I know people want our identity to be running the ball. But that's not our identity. It's not our identity yet. If we would have got Ashton Genty and Tyler Booker, I'm saying, yeah, that's our identity. We're going to be a running team. Just because you say when you run, you're going to run violently, that don't mean you're going to be a running team. Don't mean you're going to be a running team. That just means when the team runs, we're going to run violently. But that don't mean we're going to be a running team. That's why I'm saying, let's pump the brakes on this. Let's pump the brakes on this. Because right now, and I'm just going to ask you the question, and you can answer it towards the end of this. But what is our identity based on the roster? Your roster. I don't care who your coach is. Your roster dictates your identity. When your roster is the way that you want it, if you want to run the ball, then when your roster is the way that you want it, then you can make that be your identity. If you got Ashton Genty, if you got Tyler Booker. Because Ashton Genty is a bona fide running back. I mean, bona fide running back. And that ain't taking nothing away. That ain't taking nothing away from Jaden Blue. But y'all tell me, would you rather have Jaden Blue or Ashton Genty? I don't even think that's a question. Jaden Blue or Ashton Genty? Ashton Genty, you say, our identity is a running team. With Jaden Blue, you say, we can be a balanced team. Maybe we can be a balanced team. And maybe we're 55 run, 45. Maybe we're 55 throw, 45 run. Maybe we're 60 pass and 40 run. Because the way the roster is constructed, our identity is not a run team. Now, we're not going to be soft anymore. Yeah, we got Clayton Adams. We will not be soft anymore. When we run the ball, yeah, we will run the ball violently. That don't mean we're going to be a running team. You better understand it. Angie the Rebel Chick, she said, who's the linebacker that's replacing Kendricks? Okay, I'm going to keep that one on the back burner. I'll come back to that. I'm telling us, when we start thinking about our identity and we start thinking about Brian Schottenheimer, I don't know if Nisi is on here today, but Nisi said something a couple of days ago we might ought to think about. Nisi says she thinks that Brian Schottenheimer is going to have a hard time resisting those weapons. You got a Lamborghini in the yard. I don't care where you live. Are you not going to be tempted to put that thing to the floor sometime? Are you not going to be tempted to try to get it into the latest gear? Because you know that thing will go fast? Let me tell you something. It is going to take some serious discipline. Some serious discipline to make this team a predominantly run team. And I think the way it is presently constructed, if you try to make this into a predominantly running team, you're making a mistake. You can do that with Philly. Philly could be a predominantly running team. You want to know why? Because Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball nor read defenses like Dak Prescott. Yeah, I said it. Jalen Hurts cannot throw all the throws like Dak Prescott can. Will he throw a couple of times that'll make you go, whoa, he threw that? He cannot throw the ball like Dak Prescott. He can't put it in the places. He can't read the defenses. He can't make all the throws. Jalen Hurts is so dependent upon his run game. We took the run game away from Dak Prescott. I'm talking about his run game. Dak Prescott was a running quarterback when he came into this league. Dak Prescott got his ankle twisted around backwards. We took the run game away from Dak Prescott. He only became one of the top 5 passers in the league. 4,000 plus yards. One wide receiver. Dak Prescott did that. Jalen Hurts ain't Dak Prescott. Yeah, I said it. He's not Dak Prescott. The Philadelphia Eagles, even with one of the best wide receiver duos in the league, did you know what they said with Jalen Hurts? And we still not going to let Kellen Moore loose. We still not going to let Kellen Moore loose. What are we going to do? We're going to be a predominantly running team. It's no knock on Jalen Hurts. But that's not his strength. Jalen Hurts' strength is not throwing the ball. Doesn't mean he can't throw the ball. That's not the Philadelphia Eagles' identity. The Philadelphia Eagles' identity is that they are a vicious running team. They're not a normal running team. They're a vicious running team. And what makes them so vicious is not only the fact that Saquon Barkley is a home run hitter, but because Jalen Hurts, while he can't throw like Dak Prescott, he'll run circles around Dak Prescott when it comes to running the ball. And a lot of people don't realize that the way that Jalen Hurts does a lot of the things that he does in these games is not through the air, but it's on the ground. It's either Saquon Barkley running or it was him running. And that's why A.J. Brown on the sideline reading a book, because A.J. Brown is telling us something. It's the only way I can keep my mind occupied because I know I'm only going to get 6 passes in a game. the Philadelphia Eagles would have been foolish at midseason to say, hey, man, we got Kellen Moore. We saw what he did with Dak Prescott. Surely he can do it with Jalen Hurts. No, they said, no, we can't do what he did with Dak Prescott because he's not the passer that Dak Prescott is. So let's let him run below 200 yards per game and let him run for 100 yards a game. That works better because it fits into our identity of running the ball. Tell me how the Cowboys are constructed again. Tell me how they're constructed again. When you go to the 2020 season for the Seattle Seahawks, you see something else that's strange. You want to know what else happened in 2020? Let's go back and look again. This is 2020. Not only did Brian Schottenheimer do it in 2019, Brian Schottenheimer upped the ante in 2020. And he came back with even more throws. 563 attempts, 388 completions, and this time he got Russell Wilson up to 40 touchdowns. Anybody notice what happened with the run game? Shotty is keeping it somewhat balanced. Went down a few more carries. 411 carries this time. Yeah. 411 carries this time. And this is when we started saying, do y'all remember what people were saying? People were saying, let Russ cook. That's what they were saying. This is the 2020 season. The 2020 season, 12-4. They lost in the wild card game to the Los Angeles Rams. But we all know what the Los Angeles Rams were that year. We all know what the Los Angeles Rams were that year. They were not chop suey. But when you look at what they did, Russell Wilson, 558 attempts, 384 completions, 4,212 yards and 40 touchdowns. He went over 4,000 yards. Everybody was talking about let Russ cook. Look at the running back, Chris Carson, 681 yards. Look at the wide receiver. Tyler Lockett had 100 catches for 1,054. DK Metcalf went off the chain, 83 catches, 1,303 yards. David Moore, 35 catches for 417 yards. Tight end, Greg Olsen. Man, the wide receivers were eating so much, he didn't even get to eat. You want to know why they started throwing the ball more? Because their roster dictated it. Why am I going to run Chris Carson? Why am I going to run him 300 times? Why am I going to run him 300 times? So what, he can get me 1,300 yards, 1,342 yards or whatever? Is that what I want? No. I got doggone Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. I'm blowing the tops off this thing. I'm going Air Coryell in this joint. Your roster dictates. And even with Brian Schottenheimer and even with Clayton Adams, the reason why I'm telling us all this is let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. Y'all tell me. I'm going to the chat. Y'all tell me. Offensively, where are we better? The wide receiver room or the running back room? Y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. Madman, let me add to what you just said. Madman. Until we know what Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele is, you still can't say you are a power run team. Your identity can't even be running the ball with those two yet. It's crazy to me And I'm not saying crazy in a bad way. But it's crazy to me that we're more confident in Tyler Booker than we are in Tyler Guyton. And I don't know, maybe some of you are not, but I'm more confident in a rookie in Tyler Booker than I am in Tyler Guyton. I'm just telling us. When you have a running identity, and when you say you want to run violently, well, you better have your offensive line sold up. There can't be no questions on your offensive line. The questions have been answered. We have an offensive line. When you can answer that question, yeah, we're a power run team. I don't even think we have the running back yet that would say that we're a power run team. And don't misconstrue what I'm saying. It does not mean we're not going to be able to run the ball. Yeah, we are going to be able to run the ball. Because when you got a wide receiver room like the Cowboys have, and I'm including Jaden Blue in that wide receiver room. When you got George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jaden Blue, Kevontae Turpin, Jake Ferguson. Now, you ought to make defenses line up different. You ought to make defenses line up different. And you should be able to rattle off some runs. You should be able to rattle off some runs. Because we still know, at least in my opinion, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith. A-gaps, hey, you got it. You got it. You will be able to get some of those. Now, some of your outside stuff, I'm just telling us. Where are we better right now? Are we better in the wide receiver room or are we better in the running back room? Because in my opinion, we're better in the wide receiver room. And when you got the wide receiver room that the Dallas Cowboys have, and let me add this part, and your quarterback is Dak Prescott? What? Man, I'm just telling us. I'm just telling us. It will not surprise me early in the season as Dak Prescott works his way back in, as he will start the season. The Cowboys will probably be a little cautious in the beginning. And they'll probably try to run that ball and run that ball. Watch what happens the closer they get to midseason. You're going to see that ball in the air more and more and more and more. Why? Because your roster dictates it. I'm sorry, I'm not getting wide receivers. I'm not getting George Pickens. I'm not getting that type of wide receiver. So I can have a power run game? Yeah, George, we're going to have you blocking more than you're going to be catching. What? Stop it. I'm not doing it. I'm not saying he shouldn't be able to block because he should be able to block. I'm not doing it. This roster right now, no matter what any of us like, no matter what, if you don't like what I'm saying, it's fine. But you got to tell me where I'm lying. Our wide receiver room is more it's way better right now. On paper, our wide receiver room is our strength. It is. Our wide receiver room is the strength. George Pickens did that. Once you put CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens as your wide receivers, that means that now Jake Ferguson should eat. Dak Prescott will have a plethora of options. On any given play, Dak Prescott will have 4 options. He will have CeeDee, he'll have Pickens, he'll have Tolbert, he'll have Ferguson at any given play. And if he drops back the pass, if it's Javonte Williams blocking, Javonte can sneak out there and he got 5 at any given moment. So again, this is why I'm telling us. I'm looking at the history. I'm looking at the history and the most recent history of Brian Schottenheimer, even being with a coach like Pete Carroll, who we know wants to run the ball. Do y'all remember? Brian Schottenheimer even came to his own defense this year with the Cowboys. He said it. It wasn't me who was stopping Russell Wilson from cooking. What? You telling us you would have threw the ball even more? That's exactly what he's telling us. Brian Schottenheimer would have cooked even more had it not been for Pete Carroll. You better believe he would have cooked even more. Why wouldn't he? Man, you got DK bleeping Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in his prime? Why wouldn't you? You got Russell Wilson in his prime. Why wouldn't you? Skeptical fan, appreciate that super chat. Skeptical fan says we might have to rethink our run first philosophy if we don't get a real running back. And skeptical fan. And I'm not saying that we don't have a real running back per se. Javonte Williams, everybody is really big on Javonte Williams. They're saying that he's going to come out of this, off this. Now he's 2 years removed from the injury. Javonte Williams is going to be this, that, and the other. Javonte Williams to me is a wait and see. Jaden Blue, all the speed, all the quickness, all the versatility. He's a rookie. So we got to get him cooking. We got to get him worked in. We got to get him to learn the plays. There's so many things. So with Jaden Blue, I don't know if it's a wait and see with him. I think with Jaden Blue, it's a win. Like W-H-E-N. It's a win. Jaden Blue is going to be successful with the Cowboys. Just flat out, he's too talented. He will be successful. Phil Maffa, another win. W-H-E-N. Sanders, I think he won't make it. I think he will be cut. He's expendable. I'm not even thinking about Deuce Vaughn. I'm not trying to offend all you Deuce Vaughn fans. I'm not even thinking about Deuce Vaughn. The 3 running backs that we need to be concerned with, because even if Deuce Vaughn plays, how much will he play? No, I'm not thinking about Deuce Vaughn. The 3 running backs for the Cowboys right now we need to be concerned with. We need to be concerned with Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, and Phil Maffa. And some people are saying Phil Maffa not going to make the team. I find it hard to believe that Phil Maffa will not be able to beat out Sanders. Now, if you tell me the Cowboys are about to go get another running back, somebody like Nick Chubb, well, I'm going to come back and tell you, well, now we can have our identity. Maybe we can start talking about that run philosophy, run first. Angie the Rebel Chicks, he said the roster we have now on our offensive fits that pass happy. Yep. It fits pass happy, burnt toast, Mike McCarthy philosophy. Angie, our wide receiver room right now is the strength of the offense. It is. It's the strength of the offense. We need to balance it out. Now, what's going to help us balance it out will be if Guyton and Steele are on point. I got a feeling that Steele may be a little bit more on point than Guyton may be starting out, because Steele was coming off of a knee injury. Guyton now having a full year under his belt, even though he didn't play a full year. Looks like he's gained some weight, y'all. I'm just saying. I've seen the photos. It looks like he's gained some weight. That'll help us if we want the run philosophy. But the Cowboys, and don't get me wrong, the Cowboys can roll with what they have presently, and they're still going to be dangerous. And the reason why they're going to be dangerous, their wide receiver room is going to give people fits. I don't care who the team is. And let's go back to what Alex said. Let's fold this back. Now the question now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper and peel some more layers off this onion. Alex says the wide receiver duo is going to be so good where teams are going to focus on stopping the pass, and that's when our dominant run game is going to come in. So that means our run game will be working more off the pass. And that don't mean that we still won't be able to do play action. Because if your pass game, now think about what a pass game does. A pass game kind of puts everybody on their heels from linebacker zone. The pass game kind of puts everybody on their heels. The linemen are firing off. Their focus is getting to the quarterback. So if you got them firing off trying to get to the quarterback, you can run some draws. You can run some of those type of things and catch them in that mode of going up the field, and boom, you already into the linebacking core, make a couple of moves, and maybe in the secondary. You'll be able to pull some of that off. But I do think the Cowboys, the line, and again, and I don't even know if the running identity is going to start as much with the running back as it's going to be with the line. If Guyton and Steele can be what they're supposed to be, well, doggone it, even Javonte Williams will be able to run. If Guyton and Steele are what they're supposed to be, because I'm telling you the three I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about Tyler Booker. I'm not worried about Tyler Smith. I'm not worried about Cooper Beebe. I think Cooper Beebe may be on the way to an all-pro season. He was that good last year. Tyler Smith, I will not doubt Tyler Smith is probably on his way back to an all-pro season. The question is, if Guyton is what he's supposed to be, then the running back won't matter as much. Javonte Williams will be able to run. Javonte Williams should be able to pick and choose. The Cowboys should be able to pick and choose where they run if Tyler Guyton is what he's supposed to be. Now, that's where Clayton Adams comes in. Okay, let me circle the block. Angie said, who's the linebacker that's replacing Kendricks? Okay, now wait. Oh, the linebacker, yeah. Kendricks, we let him go. I'm hearing that Leafau, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. I've seen some reports where Leafau is going to step up and be the man this year. I'm not sure that's going to be the starting combination. I thought it was going to be let's pull up the roster real quick, Angie. And then we'll circle the block back again on this other part. Appreciate the super chat. Let's go to the Cowboys depth chart again. Yeah, you're talking about Kendrick. So even on this, if you look at this defensive roster here, even when you look at this, they have Murray as the middle linebacker, and here it is right here. They're saying it's going to be Leafau. I think Sanborn and Murray are going to be the linebackers. If you're talking about that, what is it called, the 4-2-5 or whatever it is, I think it's going to be Sanborn and Murray. And maybe they'll even run different combinations. For what my understanding is, Jack Sanborn is a tackling machine. Murray is going to start. So the battle will be between Leafau and Sanborn. That's who the battle is going to be between. But some people are saying that Leafau is going to be the one. They're saying he's going to be the one. Because if we're talking about the middle, we know that Kenneth Murray is going to be that linebacker. But from what my understanding is, the pair will be Murray and Sanborn. But according to this depth chart, the way they got it, it's not like that. Demarion Overshown. A lot of people are saying Demarion Overshown is coming back this season. I'm not sure Demarion Overshown is coming back this season. I'm really not sure. I know he wants to, but man, if I were the Cowboys, I would have to put Demarion Overshown on ice for at least. The only way he's coming back to me. When did he get the injury? He played in the Thanksgiving game. So I know it had to be after the Thanksgiving game. So for me, he can't come back any earlier. He can't come back any earlier if I'm the Cowboys. He can't come back any earlier than when he got hurt. I got to give it a full year. Now, I heard them talking yesterday. If y'all were listening to Brian Broaddus kept bringing up a guy by the name of Bill Witten, I think it was. Because I said I wanted to go back and look this guy up and see I'm sorry. Britt Brown, I think he said his name was. I wanted to go back and look at Britt Brown and kind of see what all the hoopla was about. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but the way Broaddus was talking about him, I want to know who he is. Because he was saying that Britt Brown is a guy that's really good at rehab and he can get guys back on the field early. But I hope they don't try to get Overshown back on the field too early. But I guess in the grand scheme of things that we're talking about, if it was going to be Overshown in another linebacker, well, obviously Kenneth Murray, I think, Angie, at least the way they have it penciled in, Murray is the man. What's your thoughts on it? They're saying that Murray is the man, I guess, if you're talking about the opposite of Overshown. But in one of these combinations, they're saying that this dude, Maurice, is going to really make another step, and they're saying he's going to be nice. We'll see. But this is one of the reasons why I say the Cowboys are going to be good. They are going to be good. And I think Brian Schottenheimer will surpass his first season when he was the OC for the Seahawks, and that was a 10-6 season. I think he surpassed that easy. I say minimum 10. I mean, I say minimum 11-6 for the Cowboys. He'll get that extra win. And again, I say that's minimum. I could still see where this team could be a 12-win team, but that still may not equal Super Bowl this year. I think the next year is the Super Bowl. But again, when I went back and I started looking at this stuff with Brian Schottenheimer, when I started looking at this stuff, it really made me start realizing that, yeah, he ran the ball. And again, that's why I'm saying, y'all don't take this as he's not going to run the ball, because he's going to run the ball. Brian understands he has to run the ball. But as I'm telling us, the roster dictates your identity. And the reason why I'm saying that, it's not even so much as the running back, the line. Emmett was talking about this. He said the issue with Ashton Jeanty, if the Cowboys bring in Ashton Jeanty, are they going to put the pieces in front of him and commit to running the ball? Well, we don't know at this point. We know what I'm sold on the middle three. I just don't know what those outside guys are. I don't know what those outside guys are. Hoodie says in the linebacker, he said he thinks it's going to be Sanborn and Kenneth Murray. Yeah, that's what I think too. They're saying Sanborn and Murray, even though some people say they think that Maurice is going to take a step. Yeah, I think it's going to be Sanborn and Murray. Michael H., he says, it behooves George Pickens to have the best season ever. He got more to lose than the Cowboys by making that trade. He does. You're right. And Michael H., I mean, I'm just saying, I think Brian Schottenheimer is going to have a hard time resisting. Man, you got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Man, come on, man. Man, you can't, but whew. Boy, that's a lot right there. C-Bay says, if Dallas doesn't sign Cooper, I believe he goes back to the Raiders or Saints. He literally has a house out here in Dallas. So weird, no talks have happened. They don't want him here. C-Base, I'm telling you, they don't want him here. Cowboys don't want him over here. They don't. Quack, quack. Yeah, Dak had to do way more with less last year. And this year, he's going to have better weapons. But again, we got to let it cook. You know, we have to let it cook. We got to let these guys get something a little bit under their belt. And that's why I think next year they're going to be even better. Yeah, Black Man, he says they need to give Dak what he needs once and for all in order to make it happen. And I think they're on their way there. But I think it's going to take one more season to get them exactly what they want. I think it'll take them one more season. Angie, that's what I was just talking about. I'm hoping Overshown don't come back this year. I don't want Overshown back this year. Overshown is too good to even risk. I hope he don't come back. But I'm going to tell you something. Everything seems to be pointing towards Jamarion Overshown coming back early. It seems to be pointing that way. And I hope it doesn't turn out to be like that, but I do think it's turning out to be that way. Alex said Kendricks posted a TikTok of him playing in Dallas. Seemed like he loved playing for the Cowboys. Not sure why he didn't resign. Oh, yeah. He didn't resign because the Cowboys didn't offer him, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we got a nice squad, quack. Now we got to let it come together. Sammy's fan said there's a lot of ifs with this team, but I can't wait to see what those ifs are on the field. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Oh, I think we're going to be incredible. I do. I think we're going to be incredible. Michael H. said, I was a huge Murray fan, but I think Zeke was better. Yeah. But, hey, DeMarco Murray was nothing to sneeze at. Boy, that boy DeMarco Murray was nothing to sneeze at, man. Murray was crazy with it. But, again, Michael H., you think about it. Murray was in Romo's career at a different point than where Zeke was in Dak's career. Yeah, they're at different points. And I think that really made a difference. Sammy's fan, he wants that defensive tackle. And I'm telling you, if we're going for a championship, I do believe that defensive tackle position has to be, it just has to be addressed. I mean, I'm looking at it in two different ways. If the Cowboys are not going for the championship, and I'm not saying not going for the championship, but there are certain things that you do when you know you're going for the championship. I mean, there are just certain things you do. And what you do when you're going for championships is you leave no stone unturned. And the reason why I know this is I saw Jerry and Jimmy do this in the 90s. They were always tweaking the team. Every chance they got, they didn't care when it was. They were always tweaking the team. They were always adding somebody. They were always making some type of trade. They were always fiddling and tweaking with the team. The team as it's currently constructed will compete this year. But if you're talking about a championship team, George Pickens was a championship move. You have to make championship moves. You have to make championship moves. Now, George Pickens, to me, let's put it like this. So let's think about where Philadelphia was before they got Saquon Barkley. Philadelphia had the kind of team. They had just went to the Super Bowl in 2022, fell off in 2023, kind of got back on the upswing in 2024. So going into the 2024 season, they kind of knew what they had. They had a really good team. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles knew in 2024 they had a really, really good team. George Pickens, to me, with the draft and free agency, George Pickens, to me, he put the Cowboys in what I call, we're a good team. I mean, George Pickens put us in the state of, yeah, man, we're a good team. We have a really good roster. We have a good team. So to me, if you're talking about the championship, y'all tell me what you think in the chat. Now, if you're talking about the championship, when you realize you got a good team, now you say, what makes us a great team? What makes us a great team? Because George Pickens can get us, you remember, you saw what I showed you in 2019. Not only was DK Metcalf worth one more game in 2019, DK Metcalf was worth two more games in 2020. DK Metcalf is the biggest change they made. DK Metcalf got them 2 more wins. Problem is they ran up against the juggernaut in the Los Angeles Rams. So when you get to the point that you got a player, Pickens, to me, Pickens will be the difference this year in 1 or 2 games. Heck, maybe even 3. And with the combination of Pickens, Jaden Blue, especially on down the scene, because on down, because I think the team will only get better as the season goes. This is why, for me, I see the Philadelphia Eagles game as a loss, because that will be the game. It'll be our first time having everything we have in the line of live fire. Because the preseason is really not going to tell us everything we need to know. Even training camp, it's not going to tell us everything we need to know. It's when we play those first 4 games. Those are the tempo setters of your season. That's one of the things I do agree with Mike McCarthy on. Mike McCarthy, while I didn't like him as a coach, he was very smart as a football mind. That's why I said that if I had an advisory board, he couldn't coach my team, but he could be on the advisory board. Because he's smart in some areas. And one of the things that stuck with me that he said in the last year, he said it was important to have all the players, your draft picks, your free agents, your trades, have them all in OTAs and training camp. Yeah, I agree. Mike McCarthy is smart, man, when it comes to all this analytic stuff. His application of being a head coach just wasn't there. I actually thought he's one of them type of guys, to me, he's too technical. I mean, he's just too technical. I mean, he uses all of the fancy gadgets, and, he was talking about GPSs and how he's just too fancy. But I thought that piece right there, was very significant. And so the Cowboys, they got all these people. They got them all now. They have them all in. And also he said something that I think is really smart. The reason why you want them all in by OTAs, you want all your players in, because the first 4 games of the season, you can get 4 wins while everybody else is sleeping, and it sets the tempo for your season. Boy, he's right. Yeah, he right on that. The ghost of Mike McCarthy, where you at out there? The ghost of Mike McCarthy. Hey, he right on that. You need to do that. That really helps you out. It does. Angie says, Angie said we should have kept Rico instead of getting Sanders or Williams. At least he would have been familiar. It's just he's injury prone. And you know what I wonder, though? I wonder if Rico leaving was more about Rico leaving. Because I'm pretty sure the Cowboys probably told him, or at least told his agent, this is your first year being healthy. We're not going to franchise tag you and pay all that money like we made the mistake with Tony Pollard. And we're not going to give you the long-term deal. So you had a very good season. I think the Cowboys, and I also think Rico Dowdle thought that he was actually going to go out there and get a deal. Because you think about it, Mills 36 was saying that that he was going to get the contract or get a contract with the Raiders. I think Mills had broke that. And people actually thought Rico Dowdle was going to the Raiders. And there was a rumor out there that the Raiders were going to offer him a long-term deal. And so I wonder if that was more of him, him and the Cowboys agreeing that because they were not going to pay him the money, that maybe he should go out there and try to get paid. And I think he might have overplayed his hand. And at the same time, I wouldn't have minded the Cowboys keeping him if they would have kept him. Because I was saying that there was no way. Because when they were talking about the Cowboys were going to re-sign him, and Brian Broaddus and these guys were talking about, Rico Dowdle, he's worth like $8 to $9 million. $8 to $9 million a season, ain't no way. And I think some of that kind of talk is what got Rico up out of here. I really do. I think it got Rico up out of here. I really do, Angie. I think that's what got him up out of here. And so, I think that's what's got him up out of here. And so I just wonder if he kind of overplayed his hand in the Cowboys, maybe even overvalued him. Some of the people even in the media. Alex, appreciate that super chat. Alex, now you already seen the what I talked about on it, but I'm over it because you said the disrespect from PFF. I don't think it was disrespect. I think it was marketing. They knew what was going to happen when they put Dak Prescott at number 17. Alex, isn't it strange? Nobody's talking about anyone else in that ranking. Nobody's talking about anybody else in that ranking. The only person they're talking about in that ranking is Dak Prescott because the majority of people know that ranking is bogus and it's biased. And people don't have to agree with me. I'm not mad about it. Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback. Because once you get past Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Jackson. And when I think about Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, I'm not basing that off of their actual quarterback play. I'm basing that more off of their athletic ability. Now, some people will definitely call me crazy, but I'll take Dak Prescott with weapons over Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen with weapons. Because I know that Dak Prescott is going to be able to do more as a quarterback, and he's not going to pull the ball down as fast. He's going to be looking for those plays rather than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen pulling it down trying to play hero ball. But once you get past those 5, I couldn't think of another quarterback that I would want on my team. Past those 5. I wouldn't take Jaden Daniels over Dak Prescott. I wouldn't take Jaden Daniels over Dak Prescott. Now, I don't know if the situation is different. If I'm starting hey, you're starting a brand new franchise and you can only start where they are now. Okay, well, if you're starting a brand new franchise and you want to start with all brand new young players, then you start talking about some of those younger quarterbacks. But if I'm talking about with the way the Cowboys are presently constructed to win right now, if I want to win right now and I'm going to have weapons around that quarterback, I'm still taking Dak Prescott with weapons and coaching over any of these other quarterbacks. Now, that's just me. Everybody don't have to think like me. I'm not going to be mad if you don't. Andrew, appreciate that super chat again. Yeah. Angie says they should handle Overshown how they did Bland. They were very slow in bringing him back, if my memory serves me well. Yeah, they really kind of took their time in bringing DaRon Bland back. And, Angie, I think some of that may have been DaRon Bland. But my issue with DeMario and Overshown, he's ready. I mean, the thing about him, he's so spiritually and mentally ready. He's spiritually and mentally ready. So somebody got to really save him from himself. I mean, DeMario Overshown is that type of dude. He wants to play and win so bad. This dude, if they let him, he'd probably play the game. He'd probably play the season opener. They got to save him from himself. And I really do hope they take their time. I hope they take their time. I agree with you. Christopher Cook, I want us to be equally explosive in the run and the pass game. Now, see, Christopher Cook, that's a different story. And that's why I'm not saying that the Cowboys are not going to be able to run. Because I think they're full well going to be able to run. Because the run game that we got is not the run game that we want yet, but it's still better than anything we had in 2023 and 2024. And I would dare say It's better than anything we had up until where Zeke was at his prime. But once Zeke kind of slid, I think we're better than what we were in that frame. So we're going to be able to be explosive in the run game. And I don't want anyone to take that I'm saying that we're not going to be able to be explosive. We are going to be able to be explosive because we got an explosive pass game and we got 3 down linemen that we know. We got a triangle in the middle. And really, we can call it a diamond. We, Christopher Cook, we literally have a diamond. We have a diamond in our offense. BB, Booker, Smith, Dak. And with that combination, we'll be able to run the ball. We'll be able to run the ball and we'll be able to be explosive in that run game. Because we're going to have teams looking at us different with George Pickens out there. And one thing I know about Brian Schottenheimer, a lot of people don't give Brian Schottenheimer credit. Brian Schottenheimer, contrary to what people believe or know, Brian Schottenheimer is responsible for the Cowboys' play calling turnaround in 2023. Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah, we don't talk about that enough. Brian Schottenheimer did that. Brian Schottenheimer was the one that convinced the Cowboys, that convinced Brian Schottenheimer convinced Mike McCarthy to change up some of the plays, put in some wrinkles from the 2023 in the 2023 season. That was Brian Schottenheimer. See, we were giving Mike McCarthy all that credit. Brian Schottenheimer talked him into it. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb talked about it. Yeah, I think it was him and Dak, they talked about it. It was Brian Schottenheimer that was instrumental in that. So, Brian Schottenheimer is going to run the ball. That's the part we can still be excited about. It's not that they're not going to run the ball. They're going to be they're going to still be able to run explosive runs. We just need the temporary expectations and understand if we're looking for them to be a power run team. We're not there yet. Yeah, we're not at the 90s Cowboys level yet. We're not there yet. But I do think based on everything we have, we're going to be able to run. And we're going to be able to run big. We're going to be able to run big. I could see us being somewhere around 55, 45. And when you're talking about percentages of run to pass, probably be somewhere around 55, 45. Because Jaden Blue is going to be able to get you some explosive runs if you get him off the edge, get him in space. I think Javonte Williams will be able to run through the tackles if he's healthy like they're saying he is. I think Phil Maffa, once they get him going, he's going to be able to run the ball, and I think he's going to be able to run it. I'm going to tell you, if the Cowboys, if once Phil Maffa gets healthy, and if the Cowboys can really get him to where his potential is, Phil Maffa has the potential to be one of those Terrell Davis type of running backs with his size and speed. When you look at Phil Maffa, if you look at the tape on him, man, he hits those holes so quick, and he's one step and boom, power, I'm gone. He one step and he's off to the races. And he's not a small dude either. He's not a small dude. He's not a small dude. They got to get him going. I think once they get him going, he's going to be good. I think he's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to him beating out Javonte Williams eventually. I want that young running back room because I don't understand why people keep – I'm not against bringing in Chubb. I would love to bring in Chubb. But I don't want to bring in Chubb for his veteran stuff. No, I want to bring in Nick Chubb because Nick Chubb is if you can keep him healthy, boy, he's a great running back. I don't care nothing about the veteran stuff. Because the Raiders are more than likely going to start Ashton Genty. The Chargers are more than likely going to start Amarian Hampton. we started Ezekiel Elliott. I think the combination of Sanders, if we can just bring it along, I think by mid-season, it should be ready enough to beat Thunder and Lightning. They should be the 1-2 punch. And that don't mean we throw Javonte Williams in the trash. We can still work with him. Winning is not an identity. Drew 912, I appreciate the comment, but winning is not an identity. It's your identity that helps you win. Your identity even helps you lose. And while I like I said, I appreciate your comment. Your comment needs so much context. No. We saw Hurts without Saquon Barkley. We saw Hurts with Saquon Barkley. We saw the Eagles before Saquon Barkley with Jalen Hurts. We saw the Eagles with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts and the Eagles with Saquon Barkley is what got them over the hump. They had an absolute super team. And Dak Prescott has never had that team. But again, I'm feeling real good. They're on their way. They're on their way. Jason White, yeah, I'm with you, G. We will be well balanced. Yeah. That's what we need to be really thinking about. Balance. Balance. And yes, when we run, we'll run violently. But we won't be a violently running team. We got too much firepower on offense. So we won't be doing that. Yeah, we won't be doing that. Robert M., I'm not going to forget. Robert M. reminds us, let's not forget 2023 when Hurts threw 15 interceptions and there was actually talk in Philly about if he was the guy. No, hey, Robert M., appreciate you. Robert M., even in 2024. Do you know what they were saying at the beginning of the season? They were saying at the beginning of the season that it was going to be, this might be Jalen Hurts' last hurrah with the Eagles. They were saying this crazy stuff. Saquon Barkley made all the difference. Yeah, Saquon Barkley made all the difference. Yeah, CB said we had 11 starters out and still almost made the playoffs. Facts. Facts on top of facts. Yeah, the Cowboys, they're on their way, though. The Cowboys are on their way. Michael H., Hurts is not a good fit for Kellen Moore offense. Never saw Dak looking to run like that. I thought we were supposed to be reading too. See, Michael H., that's the issue. And that's why when you think about Jalen Hurts, you can't have the team. You can't have, and the Eagles figured this out. That's the part that people don't give Howie Roseman credit for. The Eagles figured it out. Jalen Hurts is not that quarterback. If you're talking about throwing for 250 to 300 yards per game, 17 games, 14 games a season. No, that's not Jalen Hurts. That's not Jalen Hurts. I was saying this last year. Jalen Hurts every 4 to 5, 6 at the latest, he'll give you those games and say, you wanted to see me throw? I threw the ball. And I'm not mad at him. Play within yourself. If your game is throwing for less than 200 yards and running for another 70 to 110, throwing for a couple of touchdowns, running for a couple of touchdowns, that's your game. But every team isn't constructed like that. Every team can't win like that. It requires, and as I said off the top, your roster determines your identity. Saquon Barkley couldn't run the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl in 2022. Saquon Barkley Jalen Hurts with Saquon Barkley. Now we can run to the Super Bowl. Now we can run to the Super Bowl with the combination of Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. There's nothing wrong with that. We just got to admit what it is. Jason White, yeah, that's kind of where I am. 55 pass, 45 run works. That's kind of where I think we're going to be. It might be 50-50 midseason. And watch this, Jason White. When you got the talent the Cowboys have right now, and as that talent develops, you can actually go into games even thinking differently, Jason. You can go into games saying, okay, this week we're playing the Denver Broncos. So rather than us going 55-45 pass against the Denver Broncos because their secondary is that good, we're going to try to crack that shell. We're going to go 55-45 run. That's what we're going to do to the Denver Broncos. But then when we come up against the Arizona Cardinals, okay, maybe we're going to crack them a little bit different. We're going to crack them 55-45 pass. When you got the kind of roster the Cowboys have, you don't actually have to commit to any one way of doing things. When you got talent on your team, you think about the 90s Cowboys. What made the 90s Cowboys so unique? And the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles can't even make this claim. But the 90s Cowboys, because Troy Aikman wasn't a running quarterback. But the 90s Cowboys, they were so good in the trenches. They had the running game. They had the wide receivers. They had the tight end. The Cowboys could basically say, oh, what kind of game you trying to play us with today? Oh, you're going to take away the run. Okay, I got you. So Troy Aikman is going to go off in the Super Bowl. You're going to have a plethora of turnovers, and then we're going to beat you 52-17. Yeah, Emmitt Smith might not have 100 yards today, but he's going to still hit you with 2 tubs. He's still going to hit you with 2 tubs. Troy Aikman still going to hit you through the air. And we still going to get short fields because our defense is so good to get turnovers. That the Cowboys in the 90s, they could play any which way they wanted to. They could come into a game and say, we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to run over you roughshod. But if you say you're going to stop the run, we can say, hey, you know what? Well, hey, we can throw with you too. Now, in some of those games where they had to run up the score, they lost a couple of those. But when you got a roster that's good enough, and the one that the Cowboys have, while it may not be run dominant, it is the kind of offense now that you can say, hey, man, we can come a little bit different this week on this team. Maybe we don't do 55 pass, 45 run. Maybe we do 55 run, 45 pass. Maybe we do 50-50. Maybe we make some halftime adjustments. They're not giving us this, they're not giving us that. So we're going to come out in the second half and we're going to do this, and this. The Cowboys now, you think about what they've been over the last 2 years especially. They've been very one-dimensional. The Cowboys have been Dak, CD, nothing else. That's all they've been. Dak, CD, nothing else. Now they're going to be able to be different. I like where we are. And the only thing we need to do on this is keep building. That's all we need to do is keep building. Just keep building. Iceberg Slim, the offense will be the 3 wide receiver set. And Iceberg Slim, it makes sense. It really does. It makes sense. You might as well run the 3 wide receiver sets. It makes perfect sense when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. Let's see. I want to make sure, what is that? Let's see here. Yeah, but again, you know, you're going to run that, if you're going to run that 3 wide, and it makes sense because, again, the strength of our team right now is the wide receiver room. And George Pickens helped us with that. Yeah, Jason White, hey, and not only CD and George Pickens, man, I'm sorry, but Ferguson ought to eat, man. Ferguson ought to eat. Boy, George Pickens going to have safeties on notice, man. Boy, George Pickens is going to give you so many options, man. George Pickens going to give you so many options. George Pickens, excuse me. George Pickens is going to take on some of his routes. He taking a cornerback and a safety. Book it. He's taking a safety. He's taking a cornerback and a safety. We already know CeeDee Lamb going down the field going to take a cornerback and a safety. Boy, they're going They are going to be able to do some things once they get this thing cooking. They just got to get it cooking. That's all they have to do. Once they get this thing cooking, I think by mid-season, we're going to start seeing some things. I think by mid-season, we're going to start seeing some things for sure. Rico said, gee, let's think. Comparing Cowboys and Eagles offense, receivers room equals draw. Running back, Eagles. O-line, draw. Quarterback, Cowboys. We can easily beat the Eagles offense with an upgrade in the running back room. Yeah. See, that's why for me, I'm not looking at Chubb as a veteran presence. No, I'm bringing in Nick Chubb because I'm saying, man, I got a good team. What can make this team great? If the Cowboys don't do anything else, they're going to be good. So now the Cowboys, if they want to really run for the chip, what can make this team great? Nick Chubb, DJ Reader, Stephon Gilmore. I mean, just those three moves right there. Those three moves right there. As far as the offensive line goes, okay, Tyler Guyton, how many games do we give him? I don't think the Cowboys need to have a mindset of we're going with Guyton and we're going to let him develop the whole season. No, how many games are we giving Guyton? I think this team needs to be having that conversation right now. How many games are we giving Guyton? How many games are we giving Guyton? What's the backup plan? Are we going to move Tyler Smith over to left tackle? Are we going to move Tyler Smith over to left tackle? And let one of the other guys move up into the left guard position? Or do we move Tyler Guyton over the right tackle? But if Terrence Steele is playing good, you're not moving Tyler Guyton. How many games do the Cowboys give Tyler Guyton? Why do we do it? How many do we give him? And that's the question the Cowboys are going to have to ask themselves, because the Cowboys will have to be, if they want to go to the championship this year, they're going to have to continue to tweak this team. Yeah, it goes to Mike McCarthy. I think Sanborn's going to start. I think it's going to be Murray and Sanborn. Yeah, I think it's going to be Murray and Sanborn. Everything I hear about Sanborn, they say is a tackling machine. You want to stop the run? Us stopping the run now. Let's be clear on this. The reason why we have not been able to stop the run is not because of a one tech and the defensive tackles alone. That's not the only reason we haven't been able to stop the run. We haven't been able to stop the run either because of linebacker play. Linebackers, that's what they do. Linebackers play a lot in the run game. We haven't had the linebackers either. So it looks like we're finally going to get the linebacking crew right. The linebackers matter too. You want some stops at the line. You want some stops for losses. But when they get past your D-line, what your linebackers look like? They say Sanborn is a tackling machine. But again, you think about Leofau, there's a place for him though. You think about players today. A lot of these guys aren't three down. Some of these linebackers aren't three down linebackers. Some of these defensive ends aren't three down defensive ends. Some of the D tackles aren't three down defensive tackles. The Cowboys don't necessarily have to say who's going to be the starter. No, the understanding is it's not about who's the starter. It's about the situation. It's about the situation. What does the situation dictate? That's where we need to start being now. What does the situation dictate? Because I'm thinking that there may be situations this year I'm starting to believe full well that, hey, I will not be surprised if Michael Parsons plays some linebacker. I'm not going to be surprised because they asked Matt Eberflus something, and it's still in the back of my mind. They asked Matt Eberflus, what will Michael Parsons' role be with this team? Role. He didn't answer the position. He answered what his role was going to be. He said his role was going to be rushing the passer. When you get talent on your team, and I know why we probably talk the way we talk, is because we've been so strapped for talent. When you're strapped for talent, you have to worry about who is going to be here, who is going to be there. But when you have talent, you're not thinking about that no more. You're not thinking about that no more. Now you're saying packages, situations, packages, situations. What's the situations? That determines the personnel. Are we in third and long? Are we in third and extra long? I mean third and 15. So are we in third and long, third and 9? Are we in third and extra long, 15 and beyond? Are we in third and 6? Are we in third and 2? Are we in third and 1? Are we in fourth and 1? You got all those different situations. You don't have to say, hey, these are the starters. No. We got packages. We have personnel groupings based upon the situation. We got our first down. We got our second down guys. Oh, now we got our third down guys, depending upon what it is. Maybe we want to give a guy a break. Maybe we want to give him a give a guy a series off on defense. We have so much depth built up right now. We really don't have to worry about as much of who the starters are. Now we can say, what's the situation? That's what you want. Because the way we've been currently constructed, we got to the point to where we were saying, oh man, we're in fill in the blank. Oh man, we're in third and 1. We're in third and 2. We know full well we're in third and 2. And we're all saying the same thing. Well, probably not going to get a stop right here. I mean, that's how we thought. Yeah, we're not going to get a stop right here. No, now we got talent. And when you have talent, you can start saying stuff like, okay, packages, groupings, situation. The Cowboys can do this in the run game. I mean, the Cowboys can actually do this offensively and defensively now. I mean, you think about what Sam Williams, Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezeraku, Micah Parsons, Nealon, Leah Fau. I mean, when you think about all these players, you could literally say in certain packages, hey, man, we really want to come with a very blitz-heavy package. We want to really get after the quarterback on this one right here. Michael Parsons, we're going to move you back to linebacker. We're going to have Donovan Ezeraku on one side, and we're going to have Dante Fowler on another side. And we going after this quarterback from not just both sides. We're going from both sides and the middle. You can do that with this particular roster. So again, I don't think it's going to be so much as who are the starters, even though, on the depth chart, who are the starters. But when you got talent, man, you ain't worried about as much who are the starters as much as you are now. Hey, man, we got players that are good enough. Now we can start doing some stuff situationally. Superstar status. He said, gee, I know I'm late with my idea or comment with this one, but I like the topic of comparing Blue or projecting what he could be. He said, I'd say he could be our Le'Veon Bell for us, in my opinion. Hey, I'm telling you, this dude's got some talent, man. He's got some definite talent. And he's one of these guys, if I'm the Cowboys superstar, he's one of these guys. I won't feel Maffa to really come into his own. Because you can have Phil Maffa or you can have Javonte Williams on the field at the same time as Jaden Blue, because you can put him in motion out of the backfield and have him run over to the slot. Boy, you got options with this dude, Jaden Blue, if they really develop him right. They're going to have options with Jaden Blue. And then maybe you'll have, and then maybe you'll have series and you'll go, hey, man, this series, this is Jaden Blue. We're going to let him be the running back for about 3 series today. The Cowboys have got enough talent now. They don't have to think like they used to. They do not have to think the way that they used to, I'm telling you. I love it. Y'all tell me what you think. This thing about Brian Schottenheimer, I'm telling us. I know we've been thinking we're going to be run heavy, but I wouldn't be so quick to think we're going to be run heavy. And let me show you something else. I forgot about this part. Let me show you something else. I'm going to show you something else that I found to be fascinating. When I started looking at Clayton Adams, why would the Arizona Cardinals let Clayton Adams walk away? Well, let me show you something that happened to them. So when you look at the 2023 Arizona Cardinals, something actually happened to them too. So let's look at the 2023 Cardinals. I want us to really also temper our expectations as it applies to Clayton Adams, because I know we're hearing the stuff, and I love what Clayton Adams said, violence and this and blah. I love it. I love all that talk. But I want you to look at 2023 versus 2024, and you're going to see something pretty amazing again. Excuse me. So when you look at 2023, I want you to look at the roster. For those of you who can see the screen, I want you to look at the roster. The roster dictates your identity. And when you look at the roster, can somebody tell me who the wide receivers were? And what I mean by telling me who their wide receivers were, where's the big name wide receiver? Where is he? Where's the big name wide receiver? You could actually argue that James Conner was the best as far as skill positions go. He was the best skill position player they had, James Conner. You got a rookie wide receiver. You got Rondale Moore. He had 40 catches for 352 yards. You had Marquise Brown, 26 years of age, 51 catches for 574 yards. You got a real good tight end in Trey McBride, 81 catches, 825 yards. So if I'm the OC, which player am I going to let get the ball the most? James Conner. James Conner. And let us not forget this part. Let us not forget this part. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, don't you forget this. He also rushed the ball for 44. He rushed the ball 44 times for 244 yards. Look at his passing game. We all know he's a smaller quarterback. He's going to pull the ball down and run. And you want to know another reason why they were run heavy? This number right here says game started. Their starting quarterback, Kyler Murray, he only started 8 games. So you're not going to run the ball? You're not going to run the ball. The roster dictated what the Arizona Cardinals were doing. It dictated it. The run was what they had. They were 4-13. For as good as his run game was, as far as what they're talking about with his run game, they were 4-13. Kyler Murray started 8 games. They were 4-13. This roster, look at it. It's not good. The roster isn't good, gang. The roster dictated what they did. It dictated what they did. Let me navigate this a little bit more. I want to make sure, I wanted to make sure I touched on this. Arizona Cardinals. Let's look at the team stats in 2023. Kyler Murray only started 8 games. They still had the attempts. They had 543 attempts. But in rushing, They had 463 attempts. They had a lot of attempts. Rushing. Passing. And you got to attribute, oh, I'm sorry, that's 2023. I mean, that's 2024. Let me go back to 2023. 2023, I'm sorry. Passing-wise, they had 555 attempts. Well, you got to think about some of those are coming from backup quarterbacks. Some of that is coming from backup quarterbacks. They ran the ball 471 times. Why do you think that is? 471 times is nothing to sneeze at. 555 times they threw the ball with those quarterbacks. I mean, we know why they were throwing the ball a lot. They were throwing the ball a lot because they were 4-13. Now, let's get the 2024. Nick Rallis, Drew Petzing. He's the OC. Let me go back. So, in 2023, the OC is Drew Petzing. In 2024, Drew Petzing. Now, let's look at something here. So, in 2024, they had 543 attempts, close to what they were from the previous year, 555. They ran the ball 463 times, close to where they were the previous year. But something changed in 2024. A couple of things changed. And the couple of things that changed were worth 4 more wins. Worth 4 more wins. Does anybody remember what happened to the Arizona Cardinals in 2024? What happened to the Arizona Cardinals in 2024? Who did the Arizona Cardinals pick up in 2024? I'm going to put it on the screen for you. In 2024, the Arizona Cardinals picked up none other than Marvin Harrison Jr. 62 catches, 885 yards. James Conner, 236 for 1,094. Kyler Murray, he was 372 of 541. Threw a lot of times, too. Keep this in your mind. Threw a lot of times, too, because they were behind in games. 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. But keep this in your mind. 78 rushes, 572 yards. So when we think about Clayton Adams, Clayton Adams is good as what he does. First year he's there, 2023. They needed to run. They better have been. Their running back, James Conner, was arguably their best piece. Kyler Murray only plays 8 games. They are running the ball a lot. When you're talking 471, 463, that's a lot. The reason why they're throwing a lot, too, is because they're behind. They're 4-13. You know they're behind. You know they're losing. 2024, they're still behind a lot, and they're still losing. They're 8-9, but they had 4 games better. Kyler Murray started all 17 games. That helped him out. Marvin Harrison Jr., that definitely helped him out. When I think about the Arizona Cardinals, it also makes me wonder, one of the reasons why they may have let Clayton Adams walk is not because he's bad, but this is a passing league. I'm just telling you, man, people don't appreciate the run the way that they should. People don't appreciate the run the way that they should. Brian Schottenheimer appreciates the run. Don't be fooled, and this is why I brought this whole thing up about him. Just because he's led the league in running a couple of times, that don't mean that he's a dominantly or a guy who likes to run the ball all the time. No. You give him weapons, he's going to do what a lot of people are going to do. They're going to throw the ball. They're not going to be a run-dominant team. But what we can appreciate about Brian Schottenheimer, he's going to have a balanced offense. That's the thing we need to be thinking about with Brian Schottenheimer. Balance. Balance. Either the run playing off the pass or the pass playing off the run. Balance. Balance. That's what it is. Hold on a second, Angie. Let me get you. Angie says, messy thought. Messy thought. I don't think this is a messy thought. Angie, I don't think this is a messy thought. I wonder if they kept J. Lou, would they have still got Pickens? I don't think so. Maybe they would have, but I don't think so. I don't think so. J. Lou posted on X, and I paraphrase. He said, God wanted me in Jacksonville. Right up under the Cowboys signing George Pickens. J. Lou don't like George Pickens. Angie, J. Lou does not like George Pickens. And with the kind of locker room that the Cowboys are trying to have, man, I'm just telling you, man, there are just certain people, they just don't like each other. And I don't know. J. Lou, I don't know what. Angie, all I can tell you is I don't think it's a messy comment because J. Lou is basically saying he glad that he wasn't there when the Cowboys he's glad that he wasn't there when the Cowboys picked up George Pickens. He wouldn't want to be a part of it. He didn't want to be a part of it. I don't think it's messy. I don't think it's messy. But again, I'm just saying. Eddie said G tried to play the Harlem Shake. Right before I read my super chat was diabolical. I feel you, Eddie. I feel you. Mahoney says, still out of here next year. They will draft another right tackle. Just watch. Whole line will be revamped after that move. Hey, Guyton better step it up. Guyton better step it up. Cowboys vet said the Cardinals let him go because he was promoted to OC here. Well, I agree with you. But at the same time, they could have came and offered him more money. I mean, if you think about what the article said, Cowboys vet, he was the highlight of the coaching staff. I mean, he was the only one that produced. Good conversation. It is. C-Bay said, I thought I was the only one to have caught that edge. Hey, y'all, hey, I appreciate you. Hey, you have to catch me. Goes to Mike McCarthy. He said, God wants you in Jacks. For an NFL player, I don't think that is God. That's talking to him. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, y'all got to be rolling. Yeah, Angie, I love when you said the Harlem Shake music. Said the Harlem Shake. Pete said, still couldn't block my mom if she was rushing the passer. Pete, let's see what he is this year. Quack, quack. You know what, though? With the money the Cowboys have left right now, I wonder if J. Lou would have been a worthwhile investment. I wonder if he'd have been a worthwhile investment. I really do. Michael H., he said, so that wasn't a shot at the Cowboys. Okay, I'm not catching that, but yeah, you talking about J. Lou. It was up under and after the George Pickens pick. So that's when he made it. Now, that was a shot. It was a shot at the Cowboys, but it was also a shot because they got George Pickens. Yeah, that's when he did it. The Ghost of Mike McCarthy said Lewis communicating with the dark world. I say that all the time, Ghost of Mike McCarthy. If they told him to go to Jacksonville, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Georgie George, he said, thank you for the incredible live today. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Man, Reginald Jackson, what's up? He said, no matter if the convo's about the Eagles or not, y'all still have to bring them up. Down low, Eagles fan. Hey, we're going to be ready for y'all this year, man. I'm telling you. We're going to be ready for y'all this year. Alfredo says, J. Lou and Pickens would have had a drag. Alfredo said they don't even get past the locker room. He said J. Lou and Pickens would have had a drag out, knockout in the locker room. I don't know, man. They got all them ping pong tables in there now. Troy Dudley said Guyton to me is a natural right tackle. And that becomes the issue. You moving back to right tackle, what do you do with Terrence Steele? Because I think Austin Richards could either be your, he could probably be your left tackle. You know, you could try him out there. Robert M. says Pickens and J. Lou got into it last time they played Pittsburgh. Yeah. Pickens grabbed Lou by the face mask and pulled him to the ground after play. Boy, and then what J. Lou said about him afterwards, man. Shoot, J. Lou was hot, boy. That boy J. Lou was hot. Angie said G used to do chingy beats back in the early 2000s. I love it. Hey, you remember back in the day? I love the way you do it, like right there. Yeah. Lisa Worley, she says, good show. Appreciate you. Nothing chilling that day. Nothing chilling at day Holiday Inn. I see you. I love your sense of humor, Angie. You be having me rolling. I'm telling you, you make the chat fun for sure. Pete says, what quarterback do y'all want to sign if we get one? I want Stephon Gilmore. Louise said, what would be more surprising? Picking up a June 1st cut left tackle. Boy, that'd be surprising. Picking up a June 1st cut left tackle that allows Tyler to go inside, or picking cornerback over defense. Ooh, wee. Boy, that'd be crazy right there. That would be crazy. I think DJ Reader might be the guy that get in. I keep hearing DJ Reader. I think DJ Reader might be the man. Quack Quack said J. Lou would have been a worthwhile investment. Yeah, man, I think so too. 70s fan said, did you hear that Chip Kelly wants to change Ashton Genty's stance? I saw it. And he's already changed it. Ashton Genty said he's going to change it. And I appreciate what he said. Ashton Genty said he's going to change it because he said he needs to earn his stripes in this league. He said that when he earns his stripes in this league, 70s fan, he's going to revisit it. Mahoney Mayfield, appreciate that super chat. Yeah, Mahoney said, still guaranteed money is up. They paying him too much for subpar play. That's why I said after this season, he's done. If he don't ball out, boy, he better ball out too. And I do think that this whole thing is predicated upon Guyton and Steele. Boy, if Guyton and Steele are what they supposed to be, ooh-wee. Boy, Cowboys going to be crazy with it if them two dudes are right. If they right, it's going to be on. The ghost of Mike McCarthy said Philly can enjoy getting those rings and rolling out that Super Bowl banner. Meanwhile, we'll be taking that W with us on week 1 as we leave Philly. Boy, let me tell you something. Man, we get that week 1 win, boy, the whole football world. Wait, you know what I would say? The football world going to go crazy. There'll be people that'll be making all kinds of mistakes. All kinds of excuses on why we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Guarantee you they'll be making all kinds of excuses. All right, Michael H. He says Ho would have dog walked J. Lou. Oh, hey, J. Lou though J. Lou don't mind getting beat up though. J. Lou don't mind getting beat up. That's for sure. He don't mind getting beat up. Pete said if we don't get Gilly, he said I'm thinking Rasul Douglas or Mike Hilton. Man, if they don't get Stephon Gilmore, they might roll what they have. Lisa Worley, she said, I wish I could give you Gilmore for an early Christmas present. Cowboys may do it for us. I got a feeling we may see Gilmore. Post June 1st thing's going to tell us a lot of things. It really is. And I'm looking forward to it. All right, I'm going to give Reginald Jackson and C-Base the last word. Reginald Jackson said, believe me, Philly is focused. The main thing will be the main thing. Oh, man, Reginald, I can't wait to see you here during the season. C-Base said, Pete, I see them cutting Reader as a cap casualty because they just got rookie Tyleek. Yeah, boy, we might be able to, and I'm telling you, we might be able to get Reader. And if I'm the Cowboys, I'm coming off the money too. I'm coming off the money to get Reader. He'll be a great pickup. He'll be a great pickup. Uh-oh. Andy said, turn the volume up on that beat. She said, I'm ready to. All right, I'm gonna let y'all have it. 70s fan, the Joneses don't play starters in the preseason. We typically struggle in the first few games. Boy, I hate that. All right, guys. We'll see if I see y'all tomorrow. I'll definitely be putting out some videos, but I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, Quack Quack, he said this is an entertaining place. All right, guys, until the next time. I'm going to give Angie that new victory music on my way out. Let's get it. All right. I appreciate y'all. Let's do it. Cowboys on their way. We'll continue to talk about this thing with Mike McCarthy and this offense and the way it goes. Let's go. Let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.